Good evening, everyone. Hello and welcome along to the Sports Corner Live. We are back once again for match day 6 of the Champions League. And this is it. This is the final goal show of the group stage. We have had 6 weeks of non-stop Champions League action. We've had some incredible matches in some incredible goals, some incredible groups, but this is where it ends. Tonight, we've got plenty of games to cover. We've got a full house. The boys are all here to watch a game tonight, and hopefully by around 10 o'clock tonight, we'll be saying about some potential shock results, maybe some teams that we expected to lead the group, maybe go through, getting knocked out. Well, we'll have to find out, of course, but we've got some big games, including the likes of Real Madrid taking on Gladbach. We have Inter Milan taking on Shakhtar. We have Red Bull Salzburg against Atletico Madrid, and we've got about just above 10 minutes until we kick off with these games. And, of course, what I'll do is I'll talk through how the groups are looking, how potentially each team can go through in the group stages in their last match. And I'll be interested to see what happens overall in the final match day of action. So without further ado, let's get into the games. We'll talk about them. And it is going to get quite complex when we get into Group B because there's so many different things that can happen in terms of each group and each team, going through in the group, which is the group we're actually going to start on. Now, tonight's main game is the game that I'm going to be watching. It is the match between Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk. Now, there's another game going on at the same time as well, of course, at 8 o'clock. The Real Madrid Gladbach game is going on too. Now, I'm going to quickly run through this and how each team can go through in Group B because it is incredibly complex and it'll probably take 500 years to understand it. So for Gladbach tonight, Gladbach, they can go through if they avoid a defeat or if Shakhtar draw with Inter. Gladbach, they can still finish first if they win their game against Real Madrid. They cannot finish below third place. So either way tonight, Gladbach, they're guaranteed at least minimum a spot in the Europa League. But whether they'll get into the Champions League or not, we'll have to find out tonight. Shakhtar Donetsk, of course, coming up against Inter Milan. They will go through if they beat Inter Milan or if both games in Group B are a draw tonight. Shakhtar, they can still win the group if they win the match and Gladbach lose to Real Madrid. Shakhtar can still finish fourth if they lose and Madrid don't get defeated against Gladbach. If you're with me right now, hang on. There's still more implications because Real Madrid can go through if they beat Gladbach or if they draw and Shakhtar lose to Inter. It's incredibly complex, which is why I'll keep you up to date with the group over the next kind of hour and a half, 2 hours. Madrid, they can still win the group if they win and Shakhtar lose. As for Inter Milan, they can go through if they win against Shakhtar and the other game is not a draw. Inter will finish fourth if they don't win tonight. That is how Group B is looking. It's incredibly complex, hence why I'll update throughout the night how the group is looking. But that first game, which is, of course, Inter Milan taking on Shakhtar Donetsk, it's a 3-5-2 tonight for Antonio Conte's side. Handanovic is in goal, a back three of Bastoni, De Vrij and Milan Skriniar. Midfield 5, you've got Ashley Young on the right-hand side, and Ashley on the left-hand side, and Kimi on the right, with the midfield 3 being Barella, Brozovic, and Gagliardini. Vidal still out suspended, of course, with that red card that he got, as far as I'm aware. Lukaku and Martinez up top as the front 2. As for Shakhtar tonight, it's a 4-3-3. Trubin is in goal. No sign of Piatov today, I believe he's out injured. Matvienko, Vital, Bondar, and Dodo make up the back 4. Midfield 3 of Maicon, Stepanenko, and Kovalenko as the midfield 3. And then up top is Tyson, Marlos, and Tete. Biggest game tonight for Shakhtar in quite some time. It's a repeat, of course, of that Europa League semi-final. It's going to be very interesting to see how those guys do indeed. But, of course, let's go on and talk about the other game. It's going to be an interesting one. And to watch this match tonight, it is Kieran L. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, mate. How are you?
I'm as good as always. Looking at the teams tonight, Real Madrid 4-3-3. Courtois is in goal. Back 4 of Mendy, Varane, Ramos, and Lucas Vazquez. Midfield 3 of Modric, Casemiro, and Kroos. And then up top is Vinicius Junior, Benzema, and Rodrigo. Pretty much an unchanged system from their previous game against Sevilla, with Ramos being the only player that comes in. And then it's a 4-3-1-2 tonight for Gladbach. Sommer is in goal. Back 4 of Oscar Venn, Elvedi, Ginter, and Liner. You've got Kramer as the defensive holding midfielder with Newhouse and Thuram. Stindl as the cam. And then up top, Embolo and Alisson play. Of course, I've gone through all the parameters for this group, Kieran. It's an incredibly complicated group to how this could finish tonight. The question is, of course, you've been watching Gladbach for all 6 of the match days. Do you believe tonight they can come out and get into the Champions League knockout stages? Or will Real Madrid maybe surprise us?
It's difficult to count out Real Madrid because, if history repeats itself, you've seen them in some dire straits before, and Sergio Ramos will pop up with a goal in the last minute and they'll grind something out. But Mönchengladbach are in the, some would say, surprise package. It didn't surprise me. I know how good they are. They're a good team. So it's all in their hands, and that's kind of what you want to be on the last day. Into Milan, they've been the chasing pack, whereas Gladbach have had it in their hands. All they have to do tonight is avoid defeat. But as you said, Josh, that is a very attacking side, a very offensive side. So it doesn't look like they're settling for a point. They need to be clinical. They need to get goals on the break against Madrid, because this Madrid team hasn't been the most convincing. It should be a good one.
It should be a good game indeed, and it should be a good group overall. Keep you up to date with all of the scores. Of course, me and Kieran covering Group B tonight. Thank you, Kieran, as always. Should be a good one. Fingers crossed. 4 very, very good teams. And we're going to move on to another very good group as well, because we're going to move on to Group A, which is concealed on the right-hand side. Salzburg taking on Atletico Madrid tonight. Now, this isn't done yet. Of course, Bayern Munich are already through to the next stage of the Champions League as the table toppers. However, there are still 3 teams fighting out in this group for a potential place in the Champions League or for Lokomotiv Moscow, the Europa League. So this game between Atletico Madrid and Salzburg is going to be covered by KD tonight. How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm ready to watch this game, Josh. I've been looking forward to it all week.
It's going to be an interesting one indeed. Now, before I talk through the lineups tonight, the way that this game is going to work, Atletico Madrid will go through if they avoid defeat to Salzburg tonight. If they lose, they will drop down as the 3rd place team into the Europa League. As for Salzburg, same for them. If they win tonight, they will go through into the Champions League knockout stages. If they lose and Lokomotiv Moscow beat Bayern, then it means Salzburg will finish bottom. If they lose and, of course, Lokomotiv Moscow don't beat Bayern, then it means that Salzburg will go through to the Europa League anyway. So it is in their hands tonight, Salzburg, in terms of potentially getting into the Europa League at the very minimum. But let's have a look at those lineups on the screen. It's an interesting lineup tonight for Salzburg. It could be classed as a 4-5-1. It could be classed as a 4-3-1-2. It's a very attacking lineup either way. Stankovic is in goal, a back 4 of Ulmer on the left. Vober and Romaglio as the 2 centre-backs, and Christiansen as the right-back. You've got Soboslai as the left winger, Moepu on the right, and then you have Junuzovic kind of as the holding midfielder. You've got Berisha, who is in behind the 2 strikers of Patsandaka and Koita. And it's a 4-4-2 tonight for Atletico Madrid, away from home. It's Oblak in goal, back 4 of Hermoso, Felipe, Savic, and Trippier. You've got a midfield 4 of Carrasco on the left, Marcos Llorente on the right, with Koke and Saul Niguez in the middle. And then up top, you've got João Felix and Luis Suarez. Kieran, if there's one thing we don't know Atletico Madrid well for, is attacking. Tonight, they're probably going to have to go out there and do that. This Salzburg side, they've been a breath of fresh air to watch in the Champions League. Can they do it, or is it an incredibly tough ask?
It's an incredibly tough ask, and I have loved watching Salzburg during this Champions League group stage, and it's going to be very, very difficult for them tonight. But we talked about Mönchengladbach going for it, and I think Salzburg going for it as well. I mean, the front 5 for Salzburg is very scary going forward. Of course, Daka and Koita's pace, Berisha in behind who's been scoring goals. So Bosley, of course, we know what talent he is. But you just look at the Atletico Madrid, it's absolutely scattered with stars in that team. And as much as I want Salzburg to do it tonight, I think Atletico Madrid have probably just got the edge in terms of quality.
It's going to be an interesting game indeed. It kicks off in just about 5 minutes' time. Kieran D will be watching that game between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Thank you very much, KD. As always, we'll bring him back when the game kicks off very, very shortly indeed. Let's move on to that game, of course, in the group as well alongside them. Bayern Munich taking on Lokomotiv Moscow. As I said before, Bayern Munich, they finished table toppers tonight. So for them, of course, they can rest a few players. As for Lokomotiv Moscow, they still have an opportunity to make it into the Europa League. And to watch this game tonight, it's going to be Will. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Fantastic, as always. Let's have a look at those lineups tonight on the left-hand side of your screen. It's a 4-4-1-1 tonight for Bayern Munich. Neuer is in goal, technically 4-2-3-1. Davies, Sewell, Boateng and Sarr in the back 4. Goretzka and Mark Roca, who is now back from his Champions League suspension in midfield. You've got the attacking 3 of Douglas Costa on the left, Sane on the right, with Muller and Choupo-Moting up top with Muller just behind Moting. And then it's a 4-5-1 for Lokomotiv Moscow tonight. Gilherm is in goal. Back 4 of Marcel Rebus, Rajkovic, Vedran Chorluka, and Zivil-Gilyadov, which is an interesting name to try and pronounce. You've got Kamano on the left-hand side. You've got Rybachinski on the right-hand side in the midfield three of Miranchuk, Magkiv, and Ignatiev. And then up top is Adair, of course, scored the winning goal back at the Euros a few years ago. For Bayern Munich tonight, there's nothing to play for, Will. As for Lokomotiv Moscow, they've been another one of the fairly impressive sides in this competition. It's an incredibly tough ask to go out there and get a victory tonight. But is there any hope for Lokomotiv Moscow that they can come out with a victory?
I think the only hope is if Bayern come out lackadaisical. I mean, they've already won the group. It's done dusted. They're going to finish top no matter what. So, did they try and go all out and just try and smash Lokomotiv Moscow, or did they try and just get through the game without injuries and just try and coast through? But Lokomotiv are going to go into this game wanting to win. They want to try and get at least that Europa League spot. I think they can still qualify. Am I right?
Lokomotiv can only qualify for the Europa League.
Right. Yeah. So they've not got the head-to-head Atletico, but they can still go into the Europa League. But I just can't see them beating Bayern Munich tonight. Even though Bayern have rotated a little bit, I can't see Lokomotiv winning.
It is an incredibly tricky task tonight for the Russians. It's been a pretty poor season for all Russian clubs in Champions League and Europa League football. This is the biggest test of their season so far, and Willie's going to be watching that game between Bayern and Lokomotiv Moscow. So thank you as always, Will. We'll bring him back in a moment as the games are about to kick off in 2 minutes. I'll read your comments out in a second. Don't worry, I'm not ignoring you because we're going to move on to our final group. Now, this group is pretty much done and dusted in terms of the two teams going into the knockout stage of the Champions League. Manchester City and Porto, who both played out in a 0-0 draw last weekend, are through to the next round. But the only thing that can happen now is a battle between Olympiacos and Marseille for that third place position. Now, Olympiacos, they will finish third as long as Marseille do not pick up more points than themselves because of their head-to-head away goal superiority, which means it is all in Olympiacos' hands tonight in their game against Porto. But to watch the game between Manchester City and Marseille tonight is going to be Rowan. How are we doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing very good. Thank you very much.
Good. Let's have a look at those lineups tonight. Manchester City with a 4-3-3 at home. It's a very different team to what we usually expect. Of course, they're through and table topping anyway. Stephanie's in goal, back four of Ake at left back, Walker at right back, and the two centre backs in Eric Garcia and Laporte. Midfield three of Phil Foden, Fernandinho, and Ilkay Gundogan. And then up top is Bernardo Silva, Ferran Torres, and Riyad Mahrez. And as you can see, Marseille as well, matching them formation-wise with 4-3-3. Mandanda is in goal. The veteran Japanese left-back Nagatomo is on the left-hand side with Balerdi and Alvaro as the two centre-backs and Sakai, another Japanese full-back as well. On the right, midfield three, they've got Gay, Kamara, and Sanson. And then up top, they've got Dimitri Payet, Valery Germain, and Florian Thauvin. For Manchester City tonight, Rowan, there's not really anything to play for. The pressure is on Marseille tonight to go out there and get something. The question is, they've had such a poor Champions League campaign. Only 2 goals scored. Can they get something tonight against Manchester City? Because it's going to have to be a win.
It's got to be a win, and they can do it. Any team, like you always say, any team can win on any given day. It'll be tough. They have rotated a bit. You've got Eric Garcia in there, he's youngster, but he has actually played quite a bit. Zach Steffen hasn't played really at all. But again, we talk about with Bayern and really their depth at wings. City have got depth. Like if you look at this side, this is a side, maybe not title winning, but it's definitely Europa Champions League contenders for sure. And that's without some of their main players. So Ferran Torres have been quite on fire in the European competition, so hopefully he can get a couple tonight. But I think for Marseille, just go out there and just play a good game. That's all. If you play a good game, you might get a lucky 1-0 win, and then it's all in Olympiacos' hands. But just put up a fight. Don't just concede to the loss.
It's going to be a tricky match for them. It's a must-win game, no matter what happens tonight for Marseille. Thank you very much, Rowan, as always, as we have now kicked off with tonight's fixtures. We've got plenty of games underway. I'm going to very quickly talk about that other game going on, which I'll be keeping my eyes on tonight between Olympiacos and Porto. Of course, tonight for Olympiacos, the power is in their hands for whether they're going to get Europa League football or not. All Marseille have to do is get more points than Olympiacos in their game tonight. It's a 4-3-3 for the Greek side. Jose Sarr is in goal. A back four of Holobas, Cisse, Ruben Semedo, and former Bayern Munich defender Rafinha. Midfield three of Yann M'Vila, Kamara, and Bouchalakis. And up top is Masouras El Arabi, who's been on fire recently for Olympiacos, and Vrassi as the left winger. As for Porto, they're going for 4-3-3 tonight. Diogo Costa is in goal. Back four of Sanusi, Mbemba, Diogo Leite and Nanu. Midfield three of Otavio, Romario Barro and Marco Grujic. And then up top is two former West Ham players, Felipe Anderson and Tony Martinez. And then João Mario, not the João Mario formerly of Inter, it's a different one. He's on the right wing tonight. So we have all our games underway. This is the final night of action in the Champions League in the group stages. And what a night this is going to be. We've got some incredible fixtures to watch, some just really, really good games to keep our eyes out on. And more importantly, when every goal goes in, we'll try and keep you up to date with how the points are looking in terms of the groups. But we've had our first chance of the night. It's in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Remember, for Salzburg tonight, it's a winner-takes-all game. The question is, Kieran, who's had that first chance of the evening?
Josh, it's happening again. They've hit the post, Red Bull Salzburg. What an early chance for Berisha to open the scoring. Does brilliantly, takes it from his left to his right and just curls one. It's just rolling on the floor. It's beating Oblak and it just hits the post. Please don't do this to me again.
Could be a long night for Salzburg indeed. If you remember last week and even the weeks before that, there's been numerous opportunities where they kept hitting the post. Hopefully tonight isn't going to be the same, but they've already hit the post within the first few minutes. Thank you, KD. And that's the first update of the night on the Red Bull Salzburg Atletico Madrid game. But let's have a look at the comments, see how you guys are doing. Kyle's put, hi guys. Don't know what would be more funny, Real Madrid in the Europa League or knocked out altogether. I said, it is a neutral, Real Madrid in the Europa League, because it's just more funny seeing them in the competition. And it's more embarrassing seeing them getting drawn out of the pot in the Europa League. And then Chris has put, hi, hope you're well. Good to see you as always, Chris. Meaningless game, didn't care about the results. I love Klopp, but I'm fuming with him tonight. No need to put any first-team players on the pitch, so you know what's going to happen. An injury will happen at Fulham. And of course, I think tonight, I agree with you, it is a nothing game realistically for Liverpool. So I don't know why he was putting players out on the pitch, but we could have the first little opportunity of the night here in this game between Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk. And it was an opportunity for Barella to push forward on the right wing. He tried to lay a low-driven ball into the box towards the path of Romelu Lukaku, but his cross was just a little bit too weak. And I think he was offside in the process. But as we said a few moments ago, it's such a complex Group B right now, that when every goal goes in, we will keep you up to date with how the group is currently standing. And I mean, you can see right now with this group, as it stands with a draw across the board, it doesn't change anything. It would be Shakhtar and Gladbach both going through to the next round. But no doubt over the next hour and a half, this points tally is probably going to consistently change throughout the night, because we've seen numerous times where Gladbach, they've gone into matches, drawn games 2-2, had lots of good games. You know, Shakhtar shocked us quite a few times, to be fair, getting results here and there. And then, of course, Real Madrid have surprised us at points, just picking up points because they've been pretty poor so far in this competition, but seem to be doing quite well in the second half of the competition at the very least. But to give you a quick rundown once again, for those of you that have just joined and wondering who is covering each game tonight, my main game is Inter Milan Shakhtar. We've got Real Madrid taking on Gladbach, which Kieran L is watching. Kieran D is watching Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Will is watching Bayern Munich, Lokomotiv Moscow. Manchester City Marseille is being watched by Rowan. And I'm keeping my eyes out on Olympiacos, who are taking on Porto in that game tonight in the group. That should be a very interesting game indeed to see what happens there in terms of who's going to get the Europa League spot between Marseille and Olympiacos. But this is it. It's the last night. And I can't believe it's come by this this quick, because it was only a couple of weeks ago we were talking about all these games going on, who was going to be facing who we thought was going to go through to the next stages. And we are already done like that. It's such a quick turnaround this year, and it's a shame indeed. But we do have the draw on Monday, early morning in the UK, for the Champions League and the Europa League, which very excited about, of course, because it did incredibly well last year. And, of course, we're going to be doing it once again. It'll be me and Kieran L, and Rowan, of course, as well, who's going to be there for the draw. And it'll be interesting to see who faces who, of course, because Europa League, we've got Slavia Prague in there. Be interested to see who they get. Rowan, very excited for that one, of course, depending on what happens tonight. Kieran L, of course, will have his Gladbach. Whether they're going to be in the Champions League or the Europa League, we don't know indeed. But who knows? We've got 85 minutes of action to come your way. And, of course, once the Champions League does finish, you're probably wondering what's going to be going on the Tuesday and Wednesday night. Next week, we've got the darts starting, the World Darts Championship. So that'll be in its place for a few weeks. We should have a few, of course, football matches going on at the same time midweek. Now we get into that busy period of the season where there's just constant league matches. So do keep your eyes out, because don't worry, the channel will not be going quiet. You'll still have plenty of sporting content to come as always. But we are 5 minutes into tonight's matches. We haven't had an early goal like we did yesterday, but no doubt with the complexion of some of these matches tonight, if we compare it to yesterday's games, there is so much more on the line in pretty much every match that is being played today. There is not one game realistically where a team cannot go for something. At least there's something on the line, even if it is only Europa League action. But tell us as well in the comments what you're watching tonight with the games. I think there'll be a lot of people who'll be watching those Real Madrid Gladbach game. We've got the first chance here. Ball's lofted in towards the path of Lautaro Martinez, who's just hit the bar. And it was Barella on the right wing once again this time. He's on the right wing, lost the ball into the box. It's a high-driven cross that comes to Lukaku. He lays the ball to Lautaro Martinez, who hits it with a lot of venom. And somehow he's hit the bar. I have no idea how he's not put that into the back of the net, but it still stays 0-0 here. And Shakhtar Donetsk, you've got to say, have been let off here in the first 6 minutes. It's a very good start indeed for the Serie A side, who have got a lot of pressure on them to get something today. But we have a penalty potentially in the Olympiacos Porto game. Now, I believe they are checking for a handball from one of the Olympiacos players. Now, remember tonight, for Porto, nothing to play for. For Olympiacos, if they drop points tonight and Marseille pick up more points than the French side, it means than the Greek side, then Marseille will be going through to the knockout stages of the Europa League. But we're going to go over to Rowan now, because there has actually been a chance in this game between Manchester City and Marseille. The question is, who's had that first chance of the evening, Rowan?
It's Manchester City, and Marseille just don't get the ball cleared. Fernandinho wins it back, plays it through to Bernardo Silva outside the box. Could have gone for a shot instead. He plays for Riyad Mahrez, who takes a shot, and Mandanda makes a lovely save. It's a great save. Mandanda. Mahrez is only just onside, but City have started this game very energetically. But it's just a lovely piece of football from Manchester City as Riyad Mahrez nearly puts them 1-0 up.
Thank you very much, Rowan. We've got some big news in that game between Olympiacos and Porto. Penalty to Porto, which means handball's been given, which means, Rowan, as it currently stands, if this goes in, Marseille could be through to the next round. So a lot of pressure on that game now. Unbelievable. Thank you very much as always, Rowan. Still 0-0 in that game between Manchester City and Marseille. But the penalty has been given. A handball has been given on Olympiacos here. And I'm just trying to say, it's one of those where, in the letter of the law of today's game, it's a very harsh one, but it's a handball. If we're working off today's on how the handball rule is working in today's game, then it's a handball indeed. So a big chance for the first goal of the night in the game between Olympiacos and Porto. And standing over this penalty, I believe, is Tony Martinez, the former West Ham striker. Question is, what is going to happen here? Big chance. Penalty's taken, and it's slotted into that top right-hand corner, which means the first goal of the night has arrived, and it's gone to Porto, which means, as it currently stands, we'll look at the group in a second, but it does mean Marseille has a potential chance of going through to the Europa League, which if you'd have said that, a few match days ago, you wouldn't have believed us. They hadn't scored a single goal in the competition, and yet two came at once in their previous match. But we've had a goal elsewhere in the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. The question is, who has scored the first goal of the night in that game? Kieran.
Real Madrid opened the scoring at home, and it's a really typical goal from Karim Benzema. The ball is distributed to the right, where Lucas Vazquez, the makeshift right back, also a winger, of course, puts a delightful cross in, and Benzema's header is powerful into Sommer's bottom right-hand corner. It's just a normal, typical Benzema headed goal, really.
Thank you very much, KL, as always. We will have to check that group out in a second, of course, to see what's going on there. Real Madrid 1-0 up against Gladbach early on in the match, which means, of course, things will change very slightly in that group. So without further ado, let's go and have a look at the group now. So as you can see on the screen, Real Madrid go to the top of the group, but because it's still a draw right now between Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk, Gladbach stay second, which would still not be a bad thing for them, but they've got to hope that nothing happens in the game between Inter Milan and Shakhtar, and it stays as a 0-0 draw. But as for now, they are still within a shout of getting through to the knockout stage of the Champions League. As for that goal in the Olympiacos group, it means that Marseille currently are getting a point against Manchester City, which means they will go into third place, which would be absolutely unbelievable considering how poor they were in the kind of the first 3 match days of the competition. So lots of goals going in now, which is good to see. But Real Madrid there, 1-0 up against Gladbach, and Porto 1-0 up against Olympiacos. Let's have a look at what you guys are saying in the chat. Chris has put, I don't support Gladbach, but one of the teams I like from the Bundesliga. Cal says, doesn't matter who United get, we won't win with useless and uselesser at the back. Chris has put, where will Real Madrid be without Benzema? Honestly, I have no idea. He's been their bloody saviour since Ronaldo's left the club, and they should be thankful they've still got him. And then Cal's put, Real Madrid, he's watching Real Madrid Gladbach. He's hoping that Gladbach win that match. Well, of course, right now it's still incredibly tight indeed. And remember, we're only 10 minutes into tonight's matches. There is no rush, plenty of time for Gladbach to get into that game and at least get an equalising goal. But let's continue on with this game between Inter Milan and Shakhtar. We've not really had an update for the last couple of minutes in this match. And it started to get a little bit cagey now. Shakhtar having their first real spell of possession in the match. And although they've not really done a great deal with it so far, they're just taking their time, keeping it calm, you know. I think, to be honest, Shakhtar would still be very happy if they could get a Europa League spot. But the ball's been given away here. Barella going to lay the ball off onto the right-hand side towards Lukaku. Good clearance away in the end there from the Shakhtar defender, Borundar. And it's going to go out of play for a corner, I believe. Although, I think it's going to be a corner. Just having a check here. No, I think he's giving it as a foul in the end, actually, from Lukaku. I think he pushed Bondar very slightly, but seeing that opportunity a moment ago, once again, for Lautaro Martinez, he could have opened the scoring after, 3 or 4 minutes on the clock, and I don't know how he's not put it away. It's a really, really bad miss from him, but it's been given as a foul in the end, so Shakhtar there just let off very slightly because Hakimi was bombing forward on that right-hand side as well, getting close to Lukaku, so he could try and put the ball into the back of the net, but nothing has come in the game so far, but they are just having a bit of a spell of possession, as I said now. Ball's being flicked onto the right-hand side towards Matavenko, who's making a bombing run forward in this game. Going to lay the ball off in the end towards Tyson. They've changed their system up now, by the way. They're playing 2 up top, Tyson and Tete together right now. So a slight tweak of the system for them. Of course, I think it'll change overnight in terms of they'll probably hear the results going on elsewhere and think, well, we have an opportunity to get into the knockout stage of the competition, but ball's been given away here by Shakhtar. Potential chance for Lukaku to counter, but a good defending at the back there from Matavenko means he just hoofs the ball away and it won't come to anything in the end. And it's been very cagey in these first 10 minutes, as you would expect with this group. But looking across the board still, it's 0-0 in the game between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. We had that one opportunity early on in the game which hit the bar, which is really unlucky for Red Bull Salzburg because they've hit the bar 100 times over. But there's a ball from a long ball hit from Barella towards Hakimi. Going to lay the ball back to Barella again, and he's actually being flagged as offside in this situation. That's a real waste of an opportunity because so far in this first 15 minutes, the ball has been completely played down that right-hand side of the pitch with Hakimi and Barella. And it's kind of worked so far. This should have been 1-0 up. There was a little chance for Lukaku, as I said before, but it's causing real issues for Matavenko coming up and defending against somebody like Hakimi because he's such a nightmare to play against. We saw what he was like at Borussia Dortmund. He was a vigorous player, but we've had a chance in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Is it another chance for Salzburg, Kieran, or is it a chance for Atletico Madrid?
Well, it is another chance for Salzburg, Josh, and it's a really good chance, to be fair, that Koita's kind of flapped at. It's a really good pass from Mwepu, straight round Hermoso, and Koita's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He just doesn't get any conviction on it at all. I say that as Salzburg are coming for the ball laid across the box. Savic originally defends it well, and there's a shot from Szoboszlai. It's a great save from Oblak. Oh, what a chance, Josh. But it's been a very, very good start to this game. Salzburg corner, 15 minutes in, 0-0.
Has it been Salzburg domination, or is it quite an even game so far in this first 15 minutes of action?
I would say Salzburg domination, to be fair. Atletico Madrid are barely getting across the halfway line, of course. We know how good a pressing team this Salzburg team is, and let's hope they can get a goal and make this group a little bit interesting.
It's going to be interesting indeed to see what happens. 0-0 as it currently stands between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Thank you, KD, as always. That is a very interesting game to watch. We've seen so far this season how Atletico Madrid have struggled away from home in games. They struggled against Moscow twice in their matches. They struggled against Red Bull Salzburg at home, of course, beating them only just 3-2. And they're currently struggling in this first 15 minutes away from home against Salzburg. And we know that over the last couple of years, the Salzburg teams have been incredible. But this is probably one of the best teams that Salzburg have had in recent history. You can look at the team where they had Naby Keita a couple of years ago, where they had Sabitzer, I think, was there at one point as well. And, they've had other good players in the past that have kind of come and gone at the club. But this is the best Salzburg team by a country mile. And, well, you never know. Tonight, they might be the team to shock Atletico Madrid because it's a winner-takes-all game, remember. Whoever wins that game tonight goes through to the knockout stages. If it's a draw, of course, Atletico Madrid will still go through in second. But big opportunity for Salzburg to really shock Atletico Madrid because, my Lord, the Europa League is looking interesting with some fairly big teams down there. But we've got a little chance here for Inter Milan, and the ball's been hit on the half volley inside of the box from Lautaro Martinez, and he's hit it inside the box on the half volley. But once again, with too much power, he's just got to keep it down, keep it low, and he rushes at the shot, which, to be fair, he's getting closed down in the end by Stepanenko. But take your time. There's plenty of opportunities in this match for Lautaro Martinez. And, well, it's been a bit of a nervy kind of 17 minutes here for Conte. But looking on the touchline, he looks fairly calm right now. He's keeping calm, as you would expect. The news will filter around the stadium, no doubt, across the next 70 minutes of action of the other score going on between Real Madrid and Gladbach, which is still, of course, currently 1-0 to Real Madrid, carrying Benzema with the goal in that game to put Los Blancos into the lead. And as it stands in Group B, Gladbach will be going through to the knockout stages with Real Madrid. So if it does stay like that, then both teams will be celebrating at the end of the game after 90 minutes, even if Gladbach have lost. But they've got to watch out here because Inter Milan are coming forward. There's another ball flicked to the right wing where Hakimi's currently positioned himself with the ball. Going to lay the ball off once again to Barella. These two connecting up very well in the first 20 minutes of action. And he's gone to try and pass it back in the end to Brozovic, but he's just played it out of the pitch. And it's a really, really poor pass in the end from Barella. And you have to say, Inter Milan so far, looking the better of the two teams. Shakhtar Donetsk need to do something here because they're getting dominated, but they're quite lucky that the attacking chances the home side have had so far have been very, very, very poor, is probably the best way to put it. But we're about 20 minutes in. We've had 2 goals on the night so far against, obviously, Real Madrid and Gladbach and Porto as well against Olympiacos. We had a very good chance for Olympiacos to equalise in that game after about 5 minutes. And it was a long ball that was lofted to Watchalongs, and he hit the shot. It was 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he's hit it over the bar. It's a really poor miss from the Greek midfielder, and it was a big chance for Olympiacos to go back into third place in Group C. Of course, currently Marseille in third in that group right now. But if you're new to the stream, as always, welcome along to the Champions League Goal Show. If you're new, do leave a like and a subscription. We've got plenty more content to come on the channel over the next couple of weeks. Of course, the Champions League is done and dusted in terms of the group stages after today. But don't worry, on Monday, if you want to keep up to date with the draw, we're going to be live for both the Europa League and the Champions League draws. So do keep your eyes out for it because it's going to be very, very exciting to see who gets who in the knockout stages of those competitions, which we, of course, will know tonight how everything is going on. Among Us has put, that's not true, though. Shakhtar don't need to do anything because all they've got to do is draw and they get to the Europa League. But at the same time, you've got to look at it and think there's a good opportunity here for them to get into the Champions League knockout stages because all they have to do is take the lead in this game and then they will go into second, which there's a long-range effort hit here in the end, and it's a really poor miss. Well, not miss, it was a poor chance from Kovalenko, and the ball goes out of play. And I mean, Among Us is saying Marino-style parking the bus would work. Yeah, I mean, you're fairly right on that. I think it all depends on what Shakhtar want. Because as I said earlier, Shakhtar will look at it and think, we'll take Europa League either way. We're not too fussed. For them, it's probably better. They'll be a bit more competitive there. We saw them last year. They did incredibly well indeed. But at the same time, do you want to get into the Champions League knockout stages? Because that group is so open right now that I don't think any of the 4 teams will look at this game or any of their 2 games and think, we'll sit back and go for the draw or try and get the Europa League spot just because of how tight it is so far. But I mean, realistically, they're sitting back. They're doing quite well so far. Inter Milan missing a fair few opportunities in this game. Although there's a long ball here towards Lautaro Martinez, and he just can't get a touch on the ball. Stepanenko getting the ball in the end, and now there's a chance here for a potential counter-attack, and it's Tyson leading the charge. He's on the left wing, lays the ball to Tete, puts it back to Tyson, flicks it into the box, trying to get it towards Tete, and the ball's given away in the end, and it was a good little counter-attacking opportunity there for Shakhtar. And that is what we've been waiting for in this game for the Ukrainians there, because it's going to be a long night either way. 20 minutes, they've weathered the storm fairly well indeed, but they've got so many good attacking players on their side. Tyson is really good on his day. They've got Tete, who's been fantastic for them. Marlos as well, who on his day can do a good job. But they're going to stop here for a second because Inter Milan currently on the left wing, occupying the ball is, I think, Gagliardini. Tries to lay the ball into Brozovic. He protests for a free kick and the referee waves it away and play will continue as Inter Milan come forward on the right-hand side. Ball's lofted into the box, but nothing comes of it in the end, and it's going to go out for a corner. Good defending at the back there from Vitao, who heads the ball away. And this is the first real set-piece opportunity of the match so far for Inter Milan. And just look at the process for the free kick. It was a call for a handball from Tyson, and sometimes that would probably be given as a free kick. I think maybe the referee there, of course, VAR cannot intervene and things like that. So the corner's been given anyway, but I think it should have been a free kick. But either way, corner's going to be lofted in here by Brozovic. Guided towards the path of Lukaku. The ball's come down and it's always a real mishap at the back there. And it was a big opportunity for De Vrij to put the ball in the back of the net. It was lofted into the box. It had just come down to De Vrij, and it had actually come off the foot of Vitao and landed perfectly at De Vrij's feet. And I just don't think he expected the ball to come to him. And eventually it's cleared out of play for a corner once again. And Inter Milan have got another corner here. It's going to be lofted in by Brozovic, but I think they're going to take this short. Decides not to in the end and hits it into the box. He's come onto the edge towards the path of, I think it was just looking at it there. It looked like, Ashley Young who'd gone to hit it on the half volley. And eventually it goes wide of the mark and goes out of play for a goal kick. Not the greatest volley in the world there. But let's go over to KD because there has been a chance in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. It's been a lively start in this one, but who's had the chance, Kieran?
Yeah, first real sighter for Atletico Madrid. They've got back into the game in the last 5 or so minutes. It's Marcos Llorente who actually takes the shot just outside the area, few yards wide, but it's encouraging sides for Atletico Madrid, and they're getting back into this game. Been a very fair and even affair in the last 5 or so minutes. Very
good game so far between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Thank you, KD. Hopefully, we should get a goal in that one soon. Among Us has put in the chat, the Final Four of the Europa League is usually always an informed team. An English team which has underperformed in the league, Shakhtar, and a mid-table Spanish team. Yeah, absolutely spot on, because I think it was a few years ago when Shakhtar had made it to the semi-final before. It was Sevilla had made it, Shakhtar had made it. I think Man United might have made it at some point as well. I think it might have been even Dnipro. I can't remember which year it was, but obviously a few years ago, you tend to be right. It's usually Sevilla who kind of squeeze in there, but no doubt it's going to be interesting with the Europa League to see who goes down there, because there's still so many good teams that could potentially be down there. Atletico Madrid could be down there. As it currently stands, it would be Shakhtar Donetsk in this group going down. And I've got to say, for Shakhtar, as I said earlier, it's probably better for them to go down there, because in that situation, I think Shakhtar are a great team in the Europa League, a really, really good team to watch, really enjoyable. But it's one of those where I think it'd probably be better for them to go down to the Europa League. And then, I mean, as you said, obviously last year's was Inter United, Shakhtar, and Sevilla. I'm trying to think about the last time Shakhtar made it into the Final Four of the Europa League. I'll find it out in a bit. But either way, we've had a chance of the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Of course, Real Madrid currently 1-0 up as it stands in that match. The question is it an opportunity for Gladbach to get back into the game, or did Real Madrid nearly have a chance to make it too? Kieran?
It was a golden opportunity for Gladbach, and he has to be putting this away. Florian Neuhaus has it in the centre of the park, and he threads a through ball right between the two centre-halves of Real Madrid, and Plia is running onto it, one-on-one with Courtois, chips it over him with his left foot, but he chips it over the keeper, but past the post, and it was a real golden opportunity for Mönchengladbach. But sadly, they've not been in the game, and it's still 1-0 Real Madrid.
Very unlucky for Gladbach indeed. Thank you, KL. As always, Real Madrid in the lead. Currently, Benzema with the only goal of the match so far. We've had an injury in the game between Manchester City and Marseille. Eric Garcia has come off injured. John Stones has come on. So I'll be interested to see whether that is a serious injury there for Eric Garcia. He's been, of course, heavily linked to a move to Barcelona. Among us putting the chat, how Shakhtar go down into the Europa? I don't want Madrid. I think there's so many teams in the Europa League right now who are praying Madrid don't come down to the Europa League because Jesus Christ, Europa League is going to be mental if they come down. But we've got a chance here for Shakhtar to come forward. Ball's currently with Tyson. Tries to flick a ball into the path of Marlos, who's making an overlapping run on the right wing. His ball is a little bit too weak, and Inter Milan doing very well to defend the counter-attacking opportunity there from Shakhtar. And it's been a very cagey affair. And I think, as you said earlier among us, good game so far for them. They're looking quite comfortable and calm. Not really been many chances for Inter. And the counter-attacking way for them is working fairly well right now. But, of course, the ball's been hit long here to Lukaku. He's going to try and flick a ball to Lautaro Martinez, whose touch is awful. Gives the ball away, but actually almost got it back. He tries to flick a ball into the box, and it's another bit of defensive work there for Vitao, who's had to clear the ball, and it goes out for a corner. And Jesus Christ, not been a good start for Lautaro Martinez, unfortunately. Kieran won't be happy with that one. He's had a few poor touches and a few poor opportunities, but he's got a chance to redeem himself here. There is a corner for Inter Milan. Can they make the most of it? Of course, the one man you would expect the ball to go to is Romelu Lukaku, and Brozovic is standing over this. He's going to whip the ball into the box. It's a fairly good cross, and I think in the end there, De Vrij gets a touch of the ball, but it doesn't come to anything in the end, and it's another chance wasted for Inter Milan in the first half an hour. Among us put Tottenham to win the Europa. I think genuinely, I think they could do it. All depends on whether Harry Kane and Son can keep fit. I think if you can get Bale going on form for Spurs, he'll be fantastic to have in the Europa League, and it'll be quite interesting to see how that goes down. Liam's asked us in the chat, you covering the Europa League games? We will be covering the Europa League games for the knockout stages when they happen in February. And we'll also be covering the Europa League round of 32 draw tomorrow. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, I would highly recommend it because we will be live on Monday, early morning, covering both draws. Should be very exciting indeed to see who faces who. And then when we do get to the knockout stages, once again, we will be doing a Europa League goal show. We'll be bringing that back for the Europa League as we cover those games live. And of course, as always, we'll be covering the Champions League games as well, which usually it's 2 games, isn't it? Kind of blocked together. So it'll kind of be one person watching one game, one person watching another, and kind of like a watch-along stream rather than a goal show. But we'll have to see, of course, what happens in the Champions League. And among us put, what was that touch from Martinez? Usually it's Lukaku with a terrible first touch. And I agree with you. It was a bit of a sneaky first touch there from Martinez. But we've got a yellow card here, Vitao, going into the book. And I think Gagliardini's protesting here. I haven't got sound on, but I assume he's protesting for maybe a worse... Oh, no, he's got a booking as well. I was going to say he was protesting maybe for Vitao to get a red card, but in the end, he's got a booking as well. I don't really know what's happened in that situation to get the yellow card, but maybe might be mouthing off to the referee there and gone into the book. But Vitao is in there as well. And just kind of looking here, I think it is something that Gagliardini has said to the referee. But we're going to go over to the Red Bull Salzburg game. There's been another chance in this match. There's got to be a goal, surely, Kieran, soon. But who's had that chance?
Oh, it was a 3-on-1 for Salzburg, Josh, and they've somehow managed to F it up. It's Pat Sandaka who gets the ball from Koiter on the left-hand side. 3-on-1. He has won the corner, and his shot is just so bad and so far wide. It did take a deflection, and they have got the corner, which is being whipped in now by Sabozan. It's flicked on by Romelu, but it hits his other heel, and it's cleared away by Atletico Madrid. I mean, it's the story of Salzburg every single week, Josh. They just can't finish.
They just can't finish right now, and at the time where they need to finish the most, it is not working for them. Thank you, KD. As always, Red Bull Salzburg 0, Atletico Madrid 0 as it currently stands in that one. Remember, for those of you who are just joining thinking, well, what does this mean for this game? As it currently stands, Atletico Madrid will be going through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. As for Red Bull Salzburg, they will be going into the Europa League, depending on what happens in that game between Bayern Munich and Lokomotiv Moscow. Because if Moscow win their game and Salzburg lose, then it'll be Moscow who will be going into the Europa League round of 32. Let's have a look at the comments to see right now. Among us put who went down to the Europa League, but LFC, Ajax and Atalanta. And of course, it's a very good point because we had the 5:55 kickoffs earlier. Ajax losing to Atalanta, which means Ajax have dropped down to the Europa League as well, which what a team we've got in the Europa League. Again, another good team, which in fact last season they struggled big time to get anything in the Europa League. They lost in the end to Getafe, I think in the round of 16 it might have been actually, which they lost to Getafe. Midtjylland and Liverpool in a 1-1 draw as well, with Liverpool, of course, tabletop in NOA. Midtjylland finished at the bottom of the group, so that game was pretty pointless. And then, of course, we had the other game that was suspended last night because of the racism incident. PSG winning Istanbul Basaksehir 5-1. 2 goals for Neymar, 2 goals for Mbappe, and there was also a goal for Istanbul to finish off their campaign. Of course, PSG were already through. Istanbul finished bottom of the group anyway. Among Us has put, yes, Ajax are beatable in the Champions League, Europa League. Come on, you Spurs. Semi-final part 2. And I mean, it's all about who goes down tonight, because I tell you what, let's have a quick look and see who would be going down as it currently stands. So it'd be Salzburg going down, which they're going to be quite tricky to watch, to be fair. Shakhtar will be going down. Marseille will be going down. Ajax, Krasnodar, Bruges, Kiev, and then, of course, Man United. Some interesting teams in there, but we'll have to see what goes on the rest of the night. But we have had a goal in the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Have Gladbach got back into the game, Kieran, or have Real Madrid hit for a double?
Real Madrid have a double. Benzema has a double. And it's a mountain to climb now. Rodrigo has the ball on the right-hand side. It's a few ball rolls. It's a few step-overs. Cross into the box towards the back post. Benzema heads it in. Literally, you put these two next to each other and you try and spot the difference. It's the exact same goal again. And it's 2-0 to Real Madrid. It's an awful start for Gladbach.
Very poor start indeed for Gladbach. Thank you, Kyle, as always. Real Madrid 2, Gladbach 0. Real Madrid doing what they need to do at the biggest stage, and that is win the match. Of course, they can go through to the next stages of the Champions League. We had a goal in the meantime in the game between Manchester City and Marseille, but it was ruled out for offside in the end. Rowan, what happened with that goal? He's just chilling, bless him. He's having a nice little time. Manchester City 0, Marseille 0. I could tell you, Dimitri Payet had put the ball into the back of the net. It was flagged as offside in that situation. And it's a really nice finish, to be honest with you. It was towards the left-hand side of the near post, but the ball was put into the back of the net and the flag was straight up. So a little chance there for Marseille to take the lead against Manchester City, which would work out perfect for them because they need to go on at least get more points than Olympiacos, which they're doing exactly that right now. Of course, Manchester City drawing against Marseille and Porto currently beating Olympiacos, which would be the perfect result for Marseille, considering the last 3 match days have been pretty poor for them. And I mean, Among Us put, he fell asleep. Man City truly are boring, and well, they are pretty boring to watch sometimes, aren't they, in terms of the Champions League? The last 2 match days, they've not had anything to do because they were through to the next round, which fair play to them to be able to get through so quickly. But they had a pretty easy group anyway. And it's a big season for Manchester City because they do need to go out there and really prove themselves in the Champions League. That poor loss against Lyon was a really, really disappointing result last season. And well, big season for them in the Champions League, like we've been saying over the last couple of years, if we're being honest with you. Let's go back to this Inter Milan Shakhtar game. It has been a little bit of a quiet kind of 5-minute spell here. A few little opportunities here and there for Inter Milan and Shakhtar. But once again, Shakhtar doing all they need to do right now. 35 minutes on the clock. It would put them into the Europa League. And it's mad, isn't it? Because right now, Inter Milan would be going out of the competition completely. No Europa League, no Champions League. And there's kind of instances where you can say, is that a good thing for them? You know, they're looking to try and fight for the title, as you would expect them to, the Scudetto in the Italian league. But I'm going to stop for a second because Hakimi's bombing forward on that right wing. He's going to flick a ball into the box. It's a really, really heavy cross. And in the end, it's a really awkward ball for Gagliardini to try and get. And it could be a chance here potentially for Shakhtar to counter-attack. And the ball currently being occupied with Tyson, who is playing very, very deep right now. He's in his own half. He's been in his own half for the majority of the match, trying to counter-attack, and you can see how deep they're playing. But as it currently stands, Real Madrid on 10 points in first place, Gladbach on 8 points in second place, Shakhtar in third on 8 points as well. Of course, head-to-head Gladbach better, and Inter Milan on fourth on 6 points. Among Us, I put money on City getting knocked out by Gladbach. I can't wait for the draw. I am incredibly, incredibly excited for Monday to see who faces who. It's one of those at the end of the day where it's just hopefully we get some big ties. It's frustrating because the one rule I hate in the competition is that in the round of 16 and the round of 32, you cannot come up against teams from your own nation, which in my opinion is a stupid rule. Stupid rule. They shouldn't have that rule in it. Just have it. Sod it. If we could see Man City playing off against Liverpool in the round of 16, that would be great. We'd love it. It'd be fantastic if we could have that. But we can't because, of course, it's a dodgy system, isn't it? But we're having a change here because it looks like Vitao has pulled up injured at the back and Kochalava is going to come onto the pitch here for Shakhtar. So an unwanted change at the 35th minute mark means there's going to be a defensive change here and Kochalava comes onto the pitch. Vitao played very well, actually, in this first 35 minutes, but he's come off the pitch with an injury indeed. In fact, that's a very good point among us. Bayern Munich in pot 1 and Barcelona in pot 2. Because, of course, Barcelona finished in second, didn't they? Bayern Munich in first. If we could have a repeat of that game, that would be bloody fantastic. Because let's have a quick look, actually. While things are a little bit quiet right now, let's take that off the screen. So in teams of teams in pot 2, you've got Madrid, you've got Gladbach, you've got Porto, Atalanta, Sevilla, Lazio, Barca, Leipzig. I mean, the Barcelona are the biggest team, if we're being honest with you, that are in second. That'll be the one team that nobody wants. Atletico Madrid as well is a pretty tough team to come up against in terms of the pots and the things like that. It'd be the last game that I think anyone would want. But we're going to go over to KD for a second because there's a dangerous free kick in the match between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Who's the free kick for, Kieran?
It's for Atletico Madrid, wide left on the Salzburg side, and it's quite a silly foul to give away from Junuzovic, quite an experienced player. Just hacks João Felix down, and it's a really good position for Atletico Madrid to get a ball in the box or have a shot on goal. It's an awkward position, but I'm sure Kieran Trippier, Carrasco's there as well. They'll be thinking about shooting here.
Big chance indeed to take the lead. Be a big opportunity. I can see as well. Apparently, João Felix is majorly limping in that game.
Yeah, he obviously feeling the effects of that challenge from Junuzovic. He's just kneeling on the floor at the moment, I think, to try and sort himself out. But this free kick's about to be taken by Carrasco. It is a little bit further wider than I thought, but it is being whipped in now towards that dangerous area, and it is flicked in. I think it is by Saul. I am horribly wrong. Who is that that's flicked that in? Number 22 has flicked it in. That is Hermoso. It's 1-0 to Atletico Madrid, and it's exactly the sort of thing that Salzburg didn't want, conceding to a really needless situation.
Very poor indeed. 1-0 Atletico Madrid from a set piece. Thank you, KD. And it's a big, big challenge now for Red Bull Salzburg. They're 1-0 down, and if they want to go through to the knockout stage of the Champions League, they've now got to go and score at least 2 goals in the game. They were doing so well in the match, but I'm going to stop for a second because Shakhtar are coming forward here. Tyson, he's 4-on-2, but he's hacked down in the end by Hakimi, and Hakimi here is going to get a yellow card, and well, he had to stop it because it was a really good situation for Shakhtar to come forward, but a bit of a reckless yellow card in the end, and Hakimi goes straight into the book. And a good free kick in a good area here for Shakhtar Donetsk. Among us asking this chat, what's the easiest team in pot 1? I would have probably said there's Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Dortmund, Juventus, and PSG are currently sat first in their groups. I would have probably said Chelsea in terms of one of the weaker sides. And that's not saying they're weak. They're a good team on the day, but one of the weaker teams out of the teams finishing in first. And then I will look at Cal's comment in a second because we've had a chance at the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. The question is, Kieran, is it a chance for Gladbach to get back into the game?
No, it's another chance for Real Madrid, and they have hit the upright, the right-hand side post. The ball was put into the box again. The crosses have really paid dividends for Real Madrid so far in this game. Modric catches on either the half volley or the volley. I couldn't quite tell. It was really low. But Jan Sommer saved onto his post, which it's really, really... How do I word it, Josh? Mönchengladbach are very grateful because they have not been at it this first half. And 2-0, they're still in it at the moment, but it could have been many more.
Could be many more indeed. Thank you, Kale, as always. Real Madrid 2, Gladbach 0. Not a good time for Gladbach at all, but they can still get through in the knockout stages because right now Inter Milan Shakhtar is 0-0. And of course, Gladbach have a better head-to-head record in comparison to Shakhtar Donetsk after battering them by about 15,000 goals it is incredible 2 games for Gladbach indeed. But let's have a quick look at the chat while things have gone a little bit quiet. We are edging towards the 40th minute of the match. Let me just quickly change that on the screen. And in fact, we are going to stop for a second because there's a penalty check in the game between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Who's the penalty for, Kieran?
It's a penalty check for Salzburg, and they've just gone straight down the other end. It's Patson Daka who was taking a tumble in the area. Now, I didn't quite see the contact. The referee's giving a yellow card to Jesse March, to Diego Simeone. Of course, is giving a yellow card to Diego Simeone. The VAR check is over. It's no penalty, but it's a very, very weird decision. I'm not gonna lie. I'll need to see it again, but I feel like there was a little bit of contact in there.
Interesting decision in that match. Thank you, KD. Red Bull Salzburg still 1-0 down to Atletico Madrid. If you're new to the stream, as always, welcome along to the Champions League Goals Show. We've got 5 minutes left of the first half of action in the Champions League tonight. The scores on the doors just before half-time. Inter Milan 0-0 against Shakhtar Donetsk. Real Madrid 2-0 up against Gladbach. Red Bull Salzburg just got 1-0 down to Atletico Madrid. Bayern Munich in a 0-0 stalemate currently with Lokomotiv Moscow. Manchester City also 0-0 with Marseille, although Dimitri Payet did have the ball in the back of the net at one point, but it was deemed as offside. And Porto with first goal of the night, 1-0 in that match to them against Olympiacos. If you're new to stream, as always, do leave a like and a subscription. The Goal Show will be returning in February for the Champions League and the Europa League with the knockout stage. It's going to be very exciting to watch all of the knockout fixtures. We're going to try and cover every single one. Although it might be a bit tricky with the Europa League since there's 16 different games going on, but we'll try our best indeed with that. But we've got a free kick at the edge of the box in the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Big opportunity here maybe for Gladbach to get back in the game, Kieran?
No, big chance for Real Madrid. It's Toni Kroos, and I don't know if you watched the World Cup, Josh. That same area where Kroos hit one against Sweden, do you know, on that right-hand side of the box, just on the touchline really, is a good area. He crosses it into the box towards the back post. Benzema's there, and it's just past the post. Really agonisingly wide for the striker who could have had a hat-trick in these opening 45 minutes. We've got about 4 minutes left of the half. I think Gladbach just want to get in at 2-0, to be honest.
They certainly will indeed. Thank you, Kel, as always. 2-0 to Real Madrid in that game. Let's quickly go over to KD as well, because there's been a dangerous free kick in his game. Who was the free kick for, Kieran?
Oh, it was for Salzburg, and they've just put it into the area, and it was headed back, and it must have been on the floor outside the goal by about 3 yards for about 13 seconds or so. Something stupid like that, because they just couldn't get the ball into the back of the net. It was pinball back there, but they have got it, and Daka's put a ball in, and it's a good clearance away, I think, by Savic back there. Atletico Madrid, as you expect now, Josh, they've kind of just shut up shop a little bit. Typical Simeone performance. Luis Suarez is the only man forward. We are 2 minutes away from the half, but they are coming forward, Atletico Madrid, and Felix tries to lay in Carrasco, but it's good defending, and it's been a very, very cagey affair for only 1-0.
It's been very cagey indeed. Thank you, KD. Going to go back to Kieran L, because there's been a goal in the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Is it a goal for Real Madrid, or are Gladbach in it, Kieran?
It's no one. It's offside. I couldn't believe it. So basically, from that one where it just went wide by Benzema, it actually come off the back of a Gladbach defender. The corner comes in. It was a short one to Modric. Off a ricochet, Kroos heads it back across goal, and Varane's there. But Varane's in an offside position. Varane heads it to Modric, who finally finished it. But because Varane was offside in that period of play, it got ruled offside. It was a great finish by Modric as well, a half volley into the top corner. The Croatian won't be happy, but Gladbach, again, survive by the skin of their teeth.
Holding on for dear life right now. Thank you, Kale. Still 2-0 to Real Madrid. Could have been 3-0 in the moment. I will check your comments in a second, see what you guys have been saying. I'm not ignoring you, because we have had a chance in the game between Manchester City and Marseille. He's had to wait a few minutes, but Rowan, who had the chance in that match?
It was Marseille. This game's been quite even, to be honest. It was Marseille. Gay just catches out Laporte, just sticks his chest out. Laporte's ready to head away, sticks his chest out, knocks in front of him, hits it on the half volley. But Zach Steffen makes a lovely save with his right shoulder, just opens his body up, saves it, goes out for the corner, and then from the corner, Belerde jumps up high, he knocks it through to Laporte, who gets it clear and given for a foul. But Marseille have been really energetic today. Look like they really do want this win and try and get to that Europa League spot.
They're doing very well indeed. Thank you, Ron, as always. Currently, they are occupying that Europa League spot, 0-0 between Manchester City and Marseille, as we are about to reach half-time in tonight's fixtures. We are actually at half-time already in the game between Bayern Munich and Lokomotiv Moscow. 0-0 as it currently stands between those two sides. We will talk to Will in a few minutes, of course, on how that game has been so far. There's also been a yellow card in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. The goal scorer, Hermoso, has gone into the book as we have 40 seconds left of additional time in this game between Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk. It is now also half-time in that game between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Let's have a quick look at your comments, see what you guys have been saying. Among us has put, I'm rooting for Atalanta. They are fun to watch. They're such a good team. Really enjoy them indeed. They're really enjoyable to watch in the Champions League and in Serie A as well. Cal says that rule, which we talked about earlier, of course, the rule about teams not being able to come up against each other if they're from the same nation is fine for the group stage, but screw it. I want to see Real Madrid play Barca and Man U play Spurs. Exactly. I don't know why they don't have why they have the rule. It's so stupid. They complain about, they have the old the idea of the European Super League because the teams don't face off against each other enough. Get rid of the rule and that will sort it to a certain extent. You'll still get, some of the smaller teams coming up against each other, but even then, you'll still get bigger ties. But I'm going to stop for a second because I've got a free kick here just before half-time in this game between Inter Milan and Shakhtar, and it's a free kick for Shakhtar in a very decent position to whip this into the box. Now, this would be a massive goal before half-time, potentially, if Shakhtar can put it in. Ball's lobbed into the box by Marlos. It's headed away, and the referee blows his whistle for half-time, and it was a really, really poor free kick there in the end. But 0-0 at half-time, we'll talk about that game in a little second. But as you guys said, if they want a European Super League, get rid of that rule and you'll see more bigger ties in the end. It's so stupid. I mean, Liam's put in the chat, I want to see these games, Munich against Barca, Real Madrid v Man City, Chelsea v Dortmund. It'd be lovely to see those games. But of course, Dortmund and Chelsea, because they finished at the top of the group, I don't think they can face each other. So it's one of those where it's kind of like, scrap the rule, isn't it? Scrap the rule. And then amongst Astra, what do you think of the Premier League this season? It has been absolutely fantastic to watch. Really, really enjoyable indeed. We are at half-time of the game between Manchester City and Marseille. As it currently stands, 0-0, as Rowan said, very even affair. We'll talk about that one in just a few moments' time. And it's also at half-time in the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. And I think Gladbach will be very grateful that the half-time whistle has been blown because they could have been 3-0 down had a goal not been disallowed just before half-time. But they're still 2-0 down anyway. And they've got a lot of work to do because they are currently relying on the fact that Inter Milan and Shakhtar are both drawing against each other, which means that Gladbach will still go through to the next round if that game stays as a draw. We've got one more match still going on right now. 5 minutes of additional time was added in the game between Olympiacos and Porto. So I will keep you up to date if a goal does go back in the back of the net with the last a minute and a half of this game being played. But because we're now at half-time, we're going to go around the boys. We're going to talk about the stats and the games and hopefully have a few interesting talks about what teams can do to potentially get back into their matches. But we're going to start off with what has surely got to be the best game of the night so far. That is Bayern Munich and Lokomotiv Moscow. Currently 0-0 between these two sides. We haven't seen Will for the first 45 minutes of action. Will, has it been a thrilling affair?
It's not been a great one. It really hasn't. Not much happening. Bayern Munich have absolutely dominated. They've dominated. They've had 70% possession to Lokomotiv's 30, so they've been all over them. But they've had 9 shots, but only 1 on target. So they've had a few chances, but none of them have been clear cut. Lokomotiv, I don't think they had their first shot till about the 35th minute. It's been a really, really poor game. But what can you expect? Bayern Munich have already got things wrapped up, and Lokomotiv, they've got something to play for, but they are playing Bayern Munich. So it's easier said than done to go out and get a result. But it's not been a very good game.
It's a tricky one, but do you think, of course, with the score of the Red Bull Salzburg game, which we'll talk to Katie in a little bit about that one, of course, Red Bull Salzburg currently losing that match, which means if Lokomotiv Moscow can get a win, they do go through to the Europa League knockout stages. Do you think maybe at half-time that news will filter in and maybe they will go for it a little bit more than have?
Hopefully, because so far I've not seen much from them. Miranchuk's been pretty good. He's been showing a bit of energy on the left-hand side, but he can't do it all on himself. He needs some help from his teammates. And hopefully they come up with a different mindset, try and go at Bayern, because although Bayern have dominated the possession, like I said, they've not really created many clear-cut chances. All the efforts have been, quite long shots and whatnot. So, Lokomotiv, they've got nothing to lose here. They might as well go for it and try and, if they can get some points here, they could be getting that Europa League spot, which means they would obviously stay in Europe instead of going out completely.
Absolutely. They've got 45 minutes to try and get something in that game as it currently stands. Bayern Munich 0-0 against Lokomotiv Moscow. Thank you, Will, as always. Can Lokomotiv Moscow, it'd be a little bit of a shock, but if they can get a win in that game and hope that Red Bull Salzburg lose to Atletico Madrid, which they currently are, it means Lokomotiv Moscow will go through to the Europa League round of 32, which, of course, a few Russian fans would be very, very happy about that if at least one Russian side could get through, at least in one of the competitions. But let's go on to the other game in the group as well. This is Group A, of course. Red Bull Salzburg against Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid winning this game. And as you can see on the screen right now, this is how the group currently stands. So Bayern Munich already on 14 points there through. Because they're winning right now, Atletico Madrid will be on 9 points. But Kieran D, this game hasn't been plain sailing at all, has it, for Atletico Madrid so far?
No, they've been dominated pretty much all game. I mean, they've scored from a set piece, which is literally typical Atletico Madrid. It is typical Diego Simeone, and I mean, it's typical Salzburg from the last few weeks, Josh. They just cannot finish their dinner at all.
They can't indeed. Looking at the stats, they have dominated for a large spell of this game. They've had 8 shots, only 2 on target. Atletico Madrid have had 2 shots, 1 on target. Of course, with the goal with Hermoso in the 39th minute. Possession-wise, Salzburg have had 57% to Atletico Madrid's 43%. They know what they've got to do tonight, Red Bull Salzburg. It's simple as they've got to try and go out there now and they've got to score 2 goals. They've pretty much got their best players on the pitch tonight already, so it's not a case of bringing them on. What do they do in the second half to try and get something in this match?
It's not that they're playing bad. I mean, it's just the fact that they can't finish. It's been the problem for the last 3 weeks, the last 3 match days. They could have easily beaten Bayern Munich twice. And I feel confident in saying that they could have beat Bayern Munich twice if they'd have finished half the chances that they had in those games. But, I mean, the goal has definitely took some wind out of the sails. There's no hiding that. They all looked devastated when it went in, and they didn't really play that well towards the end of the first half. And, I mean, they need to come out with that same sort of energy that they started the game with. They hit the post, which was unlucky. That sort of energy, and I think if they get the next goal is huge, of course. The next goal is absolutely massive. If they get the next goal, you're thinking, yeah, they've got that momentum. They can go on and try and press Atletico Madrid to get the winner. But if Atletico Madrid score, then it's just game over.
That's the thing. The question is, who is going to get that next goal, if there even is another goal in the game? We'll have to find out. Red Bull Salzburg, as it currently stands, 1-0 down to Atletico Madrid in that match. Let's move on to Group B, because this group is incredibly complex. As it currently stands right now, Real Madrid beating Gladbach 2-0 means that Real Madrid go to the top of the group on 10 points. However, the game between Shakhtar and Inter Milan is currently 0-0 as it stands, which means Shakhtar will go through to the Europa League and Inter Milan will drop out of the competition altogether. However, if Shakhtar take the lead in this game, then that means they will move into second place. There's so many implications for this group right now. And let's talk about that game first between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Kieran, it was only a few weeks ago we were saying Gladbach were at the top of the group and they were sailing. They are now potentially 45 minutes away from dropping out of the Champions League. Just how poor of a performance has it been so far from the away side?
Yeah, it's not been great at all. I mean, going forward, they haven't really had much. We had that one player chance, which you came to me for, and that was probably the only opportunity that this side has had so far. Overall, disappointing from the Germans. And to be fair, Josh, and I don't mean this in any sort of bad way because they have been very impressive. They've only got themselves to blame. They've held leads in pretty much every single game, and they just haven't managed to get over the line. Obviously, that comes with experience, and this is they're very fleeting with Champions League experiences. But results are going their way so far, but they do need improvements in the second half, definitely.
They certainly do indeed. Looking at the stats to the game, of course, Karim Benzema could have had a first-half hat-trick. Plenty of chances on the board, but he's got 2 goals already to his name in this game. Real Madrid have had 7 shots, 3 on target. They've had 65 possession in comparison to Gladbach's 35. The away side having 4 shots, 1 on target. Very similar to Red Bull Salzburg. They've pretty much got all of their biggest players out on the pitch right now. And it's not really working. What did they do in this game? Because as we said a moment ago, the other match between Inter Milan and Shakhtar currently is working in their favour. But with 45 minutes left, who knows what could happen in that game?
Well, this is the thing, Josh. I've noticed that there's been a formation change, I'll be honest. It was not what they've said on the thing. They've gone with a 4-4-2 with Stindl and Bolo at the top. Player working off the right and Turan working off the left. It's not working. For me, Stindl and Mbolo just haven't been in the game at all. You know Turan and Player are dangerous. whack them two up top, bring on, maybe Herman, maybe Hannes Wolf. I know he's been.
Oh, we've had a slight disconnection there from Kieran. Apologies about that. That's the first time we've had it. I mean, I think what Kieran was going to say, there's been a slight connection with the players, of course, bring them on a bit more pace in the team. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it might get them back into the match. But hopefully we can get Kieran back a little bit. In fact, he is back now. It blew you off there, didn't it?
It did. It literally, maybe it was as underwhelmed with Gladbach as I am. It's just decided to give up. But you were right. I could hear you from the other room. A bit more pace on the wings. Maybe, later into the game, I want to see Wolf. I want to see Benez. Maybe Herman. There's not much impact off the bench, Josh. We've said this, but the shape isn't working. And this isn't the Mönchengladbach that took Real Madrid all the way in round one of the tournament. So hopefully we'll see it again.
It's going to be interesting indeed. Surely it could potentially be one of the not biggest Champions League upsets, but one of the most shocking ones, considering they were sat at the top of the group on match day 6. It's incredible indeed. And thank you very much, Kieran. And of course, we'll come back to Kieran when that Group B game does kick off once again in a few minutes' time. But let's talk about that game between Inter Milan and Shakhtar. It has been a stalemate so far. Inter Milan looking the better of the two sides, but ultimately finishing-wise, they've been really poor. I mean, Lautaro Martinez has been really poor in this first 45 minutes. He's had a few poor touches, a few little opportunities that he's hit high and wide, and haven't really seen Lukaku in this game, which is fairly strange for a player that you tend to usually see no matter what in any game he plays in. But they've got a lot of work to do. As for Shakhtar, I don't know what you really do in this situation, because so far it's working. They've not had many chances. They've had a few little set-piece opportunities here and there, but it's working for them right now. And maybe it is a situation where they look at it and think, well, we'll take Europa League. But stats-wise, you can see Inter Milan have had 10 shots, 1 on target, 58% possession, which just proves how poor they've been on the attack. Shakhtar Donetsk have had 3 shots, 1 on target, 42% possession. They expected tonight to come to Italy and not have a great deal of possession, hence why they're playing with a counter-attacking side with Tete and Tyson up top. And it's working right now. I think just if they want to push for the Champions League, they are going to have to go a little bit more attacking. But if anything, it's Inter Milan who are going to be under more pressure tonight than Shakhtar are. Hence why I would say stick with the system that they've got right now. It's currently working, and it's 0-0 in that game. But let's go over to the other group, the final group tonight. And of course, Rowan is watching the game between Manchester City and Marseille. It's at half-time in this match. Of course, Manchester City having nothing to play for in this group. However, Rowan, Marseille do, which you can see on the screen in a second. Let me get it up there, and let me scroll down to the group. Because Olympiacos are currently losing to Porto 1-0, and Marseille drawing, they will, very surprisingly, go into the Europa League. Has it been a good performance from them so far?
Yeah, they've put up a fight. I mean, City haven't been the best, but Marseille, Payet, Thauvin and Germain have played really well, like pushing City to the limits. City were forced into an early change with Eric Garcia having to come off. It was strange, though, because he comes off and then starts talking to Pep and stuff, and he goes away. City played with 10 men for a good 3 minutes, 5 minutes until Stones can come on the pitch. But yeah, Marseille have played really well today.
Been a good performance indeed, and of course we were kind of looking at it too early about Dimitri Payet. He put the ball in the back of the net. It was a lovely finish, which of course was disallowed. What do Marseille do here? Because of course City tonight, they're not desperate to go out there and get anything, but do Marseille look like they could maybe try and push for a winner to just make it a lot more easier for them?
Yeah, that's the thing. I was thinking about what I would say in terms of changes. Like City, you've got to bring on a striker. Ferran Torres just isn't hitting the mark today, unfortunately. I think he could stay in the game because he has tried to create stuff, but in terms of out and out striker, hasn't done much. So you need that Aguero and Jesus on. Marseille don't change anything because the way the game is going, I think you will get an opportunity, whether it's a penalty or a goal. City, Foden on the left has played well. He's being energetic, but he's not being given the ball by Torres or Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva a little bit more, but there's been opportunities where he could have been passed the ball and done something. We've seen Foden in this competition have moments where he can score from good spots, and they're just not giving the ball to him. So I don't know, get Foden involved more because he's one of the players that seems like he wants to fight, whereas Ferran Torres just hasn't hit the mark. Bernardo Silva's had a good game as well, but yeah, Marseille just keep on attacking because you'll eventually score.
It's working right now for them. Thank you very much, Rowan. As it currently stands, Manchester City 0, Marseille 0. It's the perfect result that Marseille will want. They've pretty much done an Atalanta. Not as good as Atalanta, but if the score stays they are right now, with Olympiacos losing to Porto, it means Marseille, who had only scored, they scored no goals by match day 4. They scored 2 in match day 5, and could potentially be getting Europa League football in match day 6. So they're the halftime scores as it currently stands. And keep your eyes out on the channel, because there is more content still to come over the next week. There's so much to come. You could join us on Saturday for our next live stream, a double header, Manchester Derby at 5:15. Going to be an interesting game with me and Rowan. And then the 2 Kierans will be live with the Madrid Derby. Real Madrid taking Atletico Madrid from 10 to 8. That is on Saturday night. You don't want to miss that. Sunday, on the 13th of December at 7:45, me and KL will be live with PSG versus Lyon. Fantastic game in Ligue 1. And then, of course, the important one. On Monday at 10, around 10:30, 10:45, we'll be live with a round of 16 draw for the Champions League. And then straight after that draw is finished, we'll be live with the Europa League round of 32 draw. Who's going to face who? Going to be interested to find out what happens there. And in terms of the sports, on 13th of December at 1 o'clock, you can join Rowan live for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final Grand Prix of 2020. And then, of course, next Tuesday, the Ali Pali will be rocking. 1,000 fans are going to be there. We're going to be live with the World Darts Championship Watchalong. It's going to be very exciting indeed. And that is what is going to be coming up on your Tuesday night next week, as, of course, the Champions League and the Europa League has finished, which is quite sad to say indeed. It's a real shame that the games are finishing up right now. But let's have a quick look at the comments to see what you guys have been saying. Among us asked, do you think Conte will get the sack this season if he goes out of the UCL in 4th and doesn't finish top 3? Absolutely. I'm surprised, to be honest, with how things were going last season, that he didn't walk at the end of last season, because it was one of those where it was it looked like he was going to go, if we're being honest with you. It looked like he was going to get booted out of the club anyway with what was going on. And then Chris put in the chat, congratulations to Leighton Clarkson becoming the first footballer called Leighton to play in the Champions League for a Merseyside club. I can see what you've done there, making sure that Leighton Baines is a slight mention there, because he never played in the UCL. Everton fans won't like that one. And then, of course, Chris put, can't wait for the darts as always, which is very exciting on Tuesday. But we're underway with the second half, and we've already had a chance in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. The question is, who's had that chance, Kieran?
Oh, what a chance, Josh, for Salzburg to get back in this game straight after half-time. I mean, they won a free kick in a similar position on the field to where Atletico Madrid scored from. They whipped it, and it was flicked on, and it eventually fell to Christensen, and he just swiveled on it and took a shot that goes just wide of All Black's post, but he did have him flapping. I mean, a few inches to the left, and that's a goal, and it's a golden opportunity again for Salzburg, but they just can't finish.
A real nice early opportunity, but their finishing could come back to bite them. Thank you very much, Kitty. As always, it is still Atletico Madrid 1, Red Bull Salzburg in that match right now. And as I said, we are underway with the majority of the rest of the games tonight. Inter Milan and Shakhtar is back underway. Red Bull Salzburg is back underway, of course. The game between Gladbach and Real Madrid is back underway too. And we have had a change of system. Ebola has come off in that game. Denis Zakaria has come on. With Gladbach now playing a 4-3-3. So another tweak of the system already in this game for Gladbach. They're under pressure. They're relying on the result going their way between Inter Milan and Shakhtar. They need that to be a draw, which currently right now is working in their favour. But they are 2-0 down to Real Madrid as it currently stands. And there's also been another change in that game. Oscar Wendt has come off. Valentino Lazaro coming on, so a bit more of an attacking change at the back as well. But we're back underway here in the game between Inter Milan and Shakhtar. There's been no changes in the game from both sides, and well, this is going to be such a really enthralling second half of action. And there's one player that I'm surprised isn't on the pitch tonight in this match, and that's Junior Moraes. Now I'm just looking at the bench here to see if he's available. And he's not. Of course, I picked up a dead leg, I think, a few weeks ago, so he must have not come back from that. They've got Alan Patrick on the bench. They've got Solomon. Dentinho as well is on the bench too. As for Inter Milan, they've got the likes of Sanchez. They've got Darmian, Perisic, Eriksson, Kolarov. They've got a lot of players on the bench to bring on, but they are missing their main man, I think, tonight, Junior Moraes, who would have done really well in a game like this, I think. Perfect player to lob the ball to. But we're going to go over to KD once again, because there's been another chance in his game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Really good start to this second half, Kieran.
Josh, I can't do this anymore. Dominic Szoboszlai, one-on-one with Jan Oblak. I'm waiting for the net to bulge, and he puts it wide. I cannot believe he hasn't scored.
I mean, I'm just seeing the chance now, and oh my lord, any player puts that into the back of the net, but not Szoboszlai, and it just looks like that Salzburg look. He's never been there for them, if we're being honest with you. It's never really come to life. But thank you, Katie, as always. Atletico Madrid 1, Red Bull Salzburg 0. It should be 1-1. It really should be 1-1. But let's move over to Kieren, because there's been a chance of the game. We've seen Real Madrid and Gladbach. Who's had that first chance of the second half, Kieran?
Oh, I'm out of shot. It's Real Madrid, and I tell you what, they've got another chance coming off a counter-attack here, and Modric shoots, but nothing comes of it. Josh, you saw what the first goal looked like, a nice header at the back post. You saw what the second goal looked like, a nice header at the back post. And you'll never guess, this latest chance was Benzema with a header at the back post. This time, unfortunately, he doesn't put it far enough away from Jan Sommer, who makes a really good save and keeps hold of it. But Mönchengladbach cannot deal with balls into the box from either Rodrigo or Vasquez or anybody like that. And Benzema is causing all sorts of problems. Nothing's changed in the second half, but we're only 5 minutes in.
You think they would learn, considering he scored 2 chances in very similar fashion. But thank you as always, Kieran. Now, Real Madrid 2-0 up as it currently stands against Gladbach. And we're going over to Will. Oh, my Lord. This is the first opportunity of the night in the game that we've gone to Will for in the game between Bayern and Lokomotiv Moscow. Who's had that big chance, Will?
Yeah, we have had a chance. And it was a chance for Bayern Munich. And to be honest, I don't even know how they've not scored this. It's a free header for Nicolas Süle. It's come from a corner, whipped in towards Süle, free header. And powerful header. Brilliant save, though, from the Lokomotiv keeper, Gulmier. I don't even know how he keeps out, because Süle got some a lot of power behind it. Obviously, it was a free header. Poor marking from Lokomotiv. But yeah, the Lokomotiv keeper might have just kept his side in the game here, because we're about 5 minutes in, and it's been the same story as the first half. Bayern Munich is just dominating Lokomotiv. Lokomotiv just can't seem to get hold of the ball. They can't seem to string 5 passes together. Bayern Munich are on the case straight away. Hansi Flick, he's got off his chair, and he's shouting at the team. They've already got first place guaranteed, but he's still wanting to win this game and smash Lokomotiv into the ground. But as it stands, it's still 0-0, so Lokomotiv's still alive, but they need to really get their act together here, because Bayern Munich are dominating this game.
Thank you very much, Will. As always, Bayern Munich 0, Lokomotiv Moscow 0. And as you can see, Hansi Flick is a perfectionist. He wants to try and get every point he possibly can. And of course, you can't blame him to that respect, because he's got to make sure that this Bayern Munich side is in tip-top condition for the knockout stages of the UCL. We've had a little chance of the game between Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk. It was a header for Romelu Lukaku. It was a ball crossed in from Ashley Young. Really good cross towards his former Manchester United partner, Romelu Lukaku, who heads the ball, but it goes straight into the hands of Trubin, the Shakhtar Donetsk goalkeeper, and it's a little opportunity at best. We've had a substitution in the game between Manchester City and Marseille as well. Raheem Sterling has come off for İlkay Gündoğan, which is quite an interesting change, to be honest. I didn't think they'd bring someone on like Sterling in a match like this, but of course he's been out for a little bit, so I guess it is to maybe get some of his match fitness as well. Everton are the best team of the world has just joined the stream. He says, hi, just subbed. Thank you very much, Everton, the best team in the world. He says, just a shame there's Liverpool fans in the building. Oh, God, please say it's not going to be like the Celtic Rangers argument all over again, because Christopher, shame about your news name. Your trophy cabinet must be very dusty, pal. Here we go again. It's getting tense in the chat. There's not just rivalries on the pitch right now. There's rivalries in the comments as well. And then Sasha's put about darts. Peter Wright is my favourite. Well, good to see you as always, Sasha. We're going to be doing our World Darts Championship watch-along, which is next Tuesday. It's replacing the Champions League. So if you're into the World Darts Championship, come on over to the stream on Tuesday, because that is the first night of action. But let's go over to Rome, because there has been a goal in the game between Manchester City and Marseille. And remember, if Marseille win this game, then it could put them through to the knockout stages. Is it a goal for Marseille, though, Rowan?
It's unfortunate, and it's the man I sort of said he wasn't hitting the game. It was Ferran Torres, and it was lovely. It was Bernardo Silva plays off to Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez on the right side of the pitch. He just drives into the box. Three Marseille players just don't want to stick a foot in. I'm just looking here. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's actually German, who had a great first half, has come back to track back, and he's gone to tackle Mahrez, but he's actually just played it through into the box to Ferran Torres, who puts it in the back of the net, and City 1-0 up. And I said either he had to come off or he had to score, and he has done. And that's just unfortunate for German there, who had a great game.
Very unfortunate indeed. Thank you, Ron, as always. It means that Olympiacos will go back into third place in the group, and Marseille will be dumped out of the tournament if they can't get a goal back. And of course, if Olympiacos go on and at least get a point against Porto, but we'll have to find out what goes on in that game. Let's go over to Will, because there's been another chance in the game between Bayern Munich and Lokomotiv Moscow. Who's had the chance this time, Will?
Another chance for Bayern Munich, and again, it's another fantastic save from Gilmire, the Locomotive keeper. They get the ball down the right-hand side. Leroy Sané, he puts a nice ball into the middle, and who's there? It's your boy. It's Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting, and he goes for the Ronaldo in the Euros. You might remember when Portugal played Hungary a few years ago in the Euros. Ronaldo did like a back heel, scored from a back heel when the ball was whipped in. Well, Choupo-Moting has tried to do the exact same. Problem is, it's gone straight at the goalkeeper, and it's kept out. But yeah, still 0-0 here. But Bayern, I think a goal is coming.
We do like a bit of flair indeed. Thank you, Will, as always. Bayern 0, Lokomotiv Moscow 0. In that game with about 35 minutes left of action on the clock, we had a massive chance in this game between Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk. It was a free kick that was lobbed in by Brozovic into the box from about 35 yards out. He's flicked it towards Lukaku's head. And this time, this header was so much better than the first one I talked about a few moments ago. He just tips it towards the right-hand side of the post, and it might just be a little bit high for the ball to kind of go into the net, but it's a very good save in the end by Trubin, who just tips it over his bar, makes sure that there's no potential risk of the ball going into the back of the net, and it goes out for a corner, which in the end doesn't come to anything. And Shakhtar continues to hold on in this game as it currently stands 0-0 in this match. It's been a very decent game, though. For a 0-0, it's had a few little opportunities for both sides, and it's a cagey affair, as you would expect, which will, of course, look at the groups in a little bit. Council first Rangers, then Celtic, now Everton are the best team in the world. The uprising is truly real. I completely agree with you, Kyle. And then Sasha's put, he's so funny. Peter, right, he's a very good darts player when he's there. I'm looking forward to that World Darts Championship, which I said is next week on the channel. That's what's going to replace the Champions League. I'm going to be trying to cover every single day of the World Darts Championship with the afternoon sessions and the evening sessions. So it's going to be hyping here, and I'm tempted to do a few extra things as well for it. But let's go over to KDE, because there's been a chance in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Who's had the chance this time, Kieran?
Who do you think's had the chance, Josh?
Is it by chance Red Bull Salzburg?
It is, and it's poor finishing. It's Daka. It's quite a hard angle to score from, but he is literally one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he just whacks it wide. I don't know what to say, to be honest, Josh. I mean, how have they not scored? Honestly, they need to score soon, though.
They really do indeed. As it currently stands, Salzburg need to score 2 goals if they want to win the group. Thank you, KD, as always. It feels like a goal will come, but to be honest, that's how we always feel with Red Bull Salzburg. They tend to be a very good attacking team, just can't finish, which is quite poor for them indeed. But it's 1-0 to Atletico Madrid. But I'm going to stop for a second because there's a chance here for Inter Milan. And it's another poor chance from Lautaro Martinez, who I've got to say tonight has been really, really poor. And I think this one's a lot harder than it's expected to be. It's a much harder chance than what we've seen before. It's a ball that's flicked into the box, I think from Gagliardini, who just whips it in. It comes towards the path of Lautaro Martinez. In fact, it was a cross from Bastoni. It was a cross into the box. It's an awkward volley. He tries his best, but it goes so wide of the mark, and he's not done much at all in tonight's game. But let's go over to Will, because there's been a chance in the game. In fact, I'm going to stop for a second here because it's a hands-on head moment right now for Kieren L. I'm going to go over to him. What's going on in that game, Kieren? Drama.
I don't believe it. Mönchengladbach have had another golden opportunity. Look back now, it was offside, but that's not the point. He took a shot, did Alassane Plia, and it was a great sliding challenge by Varane, and the ball ricocheted back to him. All he has to do is just prod it over Courtois. He prods it over him, and it hits the side netting. And you know what I'm like, Josh, when it hits the side netting, I always think it's gone in, and it hasn't. So it was offside anyway, but better signs from Mönchengladbach, and obviously not for my heart rate, sadly.
No. Hopefully, Kieran doesn't have a heart attack by the end of the stream if Gladbach can come back into it. But it's still 2-0 that game. Thank you, Kieran L, as always. I will get him on at one point. We will get to see his passion. We do love it indeed. Let's go over to Will, though, because there's been a chance of the game between Bayern Munich and Lokomotiv Moscow. Bayern, another chance for them potentially in this game, Will?
Yeah, another chance. And another moment where this goalkeeper for Lokomotiv, in the second half, he's been absolutely incredible. Serge Gnabry, he actually had 2 opportunities here. So the ball's whipped in by Alphonso Davies. It goes straight to Gnabry on the volley. Really, really good save from Gilmire again. He comes back to Gnabry on the rebound, and on the rebound just puts it wide of the post. But again, I do not have a clue how Bayern Munich are not winning this game. But fair play to the Lokomotiv keeper. He's having an absolute blinder. But I said I think a goal is coming, and I stick with that. I think in the next 5 minutes, I think Bayern, they've surely got to have a goal. Because if you look at the game right now, Lokomotiv have got every single player behind the ball. It's an absolute domination, but it's still 0-0 somehow.
It really is pure domination right now in that game. Guilherme having the game of his life against Bayern Munich. Thank you, Will, as always. 0-0 in that match. And I do agree with him. I think we will see a goal soon in that game. But will it be to Bayern Munich, or will we potentially see Lokomotiv Moscow maybe get a shock result in that game? We'll have to check. But we've got a VAR penalty check once again in that match between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Is it for Salzburg, Kieran?
Well, it was for Salzburg, but it's been waved off, I think, by Anthony Taylor. It did look like there was contact made between Savic and Patson Daka. I'm not quite sure if this... No, they're not. The check is over. It's not a penalty, but again, Salzburg, another chance to potentially get back in this game. But they have been caught on the counter here. It's decent defending by Voba, but Atletico Madrid still have the ball. And when they break, they will break hard. It's Carrasco. He's skipped past two and he's found Cork here. Puts it out wide to Trippier. Oh, I feel like a goal's coming here. Marcos Llorente in the box. Back to Trippier. Ball into the box. Headed away. And the counter could be on here now for Salzburg. Oh, what a challenge that is. I think it's Hermoso. Ball whipped in the box. And it's cleared away. Had a nice little flurry of moments there. But Savic is getting the yellow card for something as well, I think. Still 1-0.
Still 1-0 as it currently stands. Thank you, Katie. It's been a lively game, that one. If you haven't been watching that, highly recommend checking that one out because Salzburg, as it currently stands, are going out of the Champions League, but they will go into the Europa League round of 32, and do not sleep on them. They're going to be a tough team to face, but go back to this Inter Milan game because Inter are coming forward here. Another opportunity in this game for them, and I've got to say in this second half, they've looked a lot better on the attack. They've had a few better opportunities on goal. They look a little bit more, not deadly with their finishing because they still put the ball into the back of the net, so you can't exactly say that. But they look a little better in terms of how they've played overall. Lukaku's got into the game a bit. I think, to be honest, I think in a game like this, you probably have to keep Lautaro Martinez on, but I would have took him off for Sanchez because he has been a bit poor in this match, and maybe Sanchez might bring a little bit extra dynamism into this game that maybe Lautaro hasn't got right now. You know, it's a nervy game, and I guess at the end of the day, you can understand why some players will go a little bit shy in a match like this when the pressure is on, but they've got a corner here into Milan, and I tell you what, if you could put this into the back of the net, it's got a big chance indeed. Ball's actually lofted this time towards the path of, I think he's gone towards Skriniar there. It has indeed, but ultimately in the end, the header goes high and wayward and out of play for a goal kick. Shakhtar, with half an hour to go, still 0-0 in that match. Let's have a look at what you guys have been saying in the chat. Everton, the best team in the world, saying Liverpool fans are coming out of their rocks after winning the league 30 years, embarrassing. Sasha then replied, Everton who? He's getting feisty in this chat, we'll live to see it. Chris putting, wow, Everton fans, season review every season. He's only drawing with us at Goodinson, saying that Everton won the league in 2-2 draw with us back in October after VAR helping them. So well done to them. Oh, wait, where are they now? Mind the gap, come back when you win a trophy. Unbelievable right now in that chat. And then Sasha's put, number 9 in Premier League, Everton. What is going on, honestly? As I said, it's not just feisty in these games, it's feisty in the chat as well. And for us, we bloody love it. Whenever the Celtic and the Rangers fans are bickering with each other, which no doubt will happen on Monday when the draw comes out. But I guess Rangers, there will still be Celtic fans who'll come in and say stuff about Rangers fans. But let's go over to Will, because there's been a goal in that game between Bayern Munich and Lokomotiv Moscow. You heard him a few minutes ago. He did say there was going to be a goal in this match. But is it for Bayern Munich or is it a goal for Moscow, Will?
It's a goal for Bayern Munich, and I said Sewell should have had a goal earlier in the game. Well, he's got his goal now. Again, it's come from a corner. Fantastic ball whipped in. But again, he's pretty much unmarked. The thing with Sewell is he's just a giant, and he rises. No one can jump with him, and he just fantastic header into the bottom corner. The keeper's got absolutely no chance. But the ball from Douglas Costa was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, Bayern Munich take the lead. I said they'd take the lead within the next 5 minutes, and that's exactly what they've done. I can't see Lokomotiv getting anything from this game now. And I think there's a potentially that the floodgates could open.
They could indeed. Thank you very much, Will, as always. In terms of, again, that floodgates did open. Remember that game against Salzburg a few weeks ago where they were being tied 2-2 for a large spell of the match, and then it turned into a 6-2 row. Could we see something similar in this game? We'll have to find out. There is about just above half an hour of that match left. Let's go over to KL now, because there's been a chance in that game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. The last time we spoke to him, there was a good little chance for Gladbach. Are they improving in this match, Kieran?
Well, they've been better. It wasn't very hard, I'll admit. But it was a chance for Real Madrid, and it was Toni Kroos on the edge of the box. He kept shifting it to his left foot before taking fire from the edge of the box. And it's a great tip save in the top right-hand corner by Dan Sommer, the acrobatic keeper. he just tips it over, and it's a really good save, and he's denied his team going 3-0 down, which is could be game over if that happens, Josh.
Could be game over indeed. Thank you very much, KL. As always, we have just had a chance and a half in this match. My Lord, it was an opportunity for, I think it was Brozovic at the edge of the box. It was originally a chance with Barella. He'd gone to try and head the ball, but he got punched in the head by Trubin, so he was down on the floor. Play continued on. The ball came out to Brozovic outside of the box. He took the shot on. He then hit Barella in the head while he's down with his shot. And then it trickled off another play, which means he's gone out for a corner. But another big chance in the match. And he's got a corner here for Inter Milan. Ball's lofted into the box by Brozovic. And eventually it's cleared away. It's come towards Ashley Young, but he's given the ball away. And now this could be a really good chance here for Shakhtar to counter. It's a 4-on-3. Referees played the advantage here. Good chance for them to come forward. Tete at the edge of the box. He takes on the effort from long range. It's come back towards the path of Tyson, who hits it from the left wing. And it's just wide. He was inside the box on the left-hand side of the outside of the post, and it was a good chance. And that is the counter-attacking opportunities that we could see from Shakhtar in this game. And it was a really good save originally from Handanovic, and the ball did come out towards Tyson, and he's very hard angle, but he just couldn't put it in the back of the net. And we have a change in this game as Solomon and Alan Patrick will be coming onto the pitch. We've had, I think, a change in the match between Atletico Madrid and Red Bull Salzburg. Correa and Herrera have come on. Saul and Suarez have come off. And then apparently Suarez and Saul both started crying because they were taken off. Saddos, honestly, the both of them. Taking the toys out of the pram is exactly what Kieran said, which is the perfect way to describe it. And we're going to go back to KL because there's been a chance in the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Another chance for Madrid, Kieran?
No. This one's a chance for Gladbach, an Alisson player. I don't know if he doesn't have his shooting boots on today at all, or he's absolutely loving the side netting, because he had another one that hit the side netting there. It was a free kick whipped in by Lars Stindl. Really nice ball. It hit the head of Ramos, but he could only hit it backwards to Alisson, a player who chests it down and hit it on the half volley, but only found the right side netting. I think Courtois may have had it covered, but promising signs.
Promising signs indeed. 25 minutes of action left in that one. Real Madrid 2, Gladbach 0. It is a nervous time in the Champions League as we get towards the final half an hour of action across the board in tonight's fixtures. As it currently stands, Inter Milan drawing 0-0 with Shakhtar, which means Inter Milan will be knocked out of the competition. Shakhtar will drop down to the Europa League round of 32. Real Madrid beating Gladbach, which means Real Madrid would go to the top of the group. As for Gladbach, because of Inter Milan and Shakhtar drawing, it means that Gladbach would go through, which means we could potentially see celebrations from both teams in that match after the game has finished. Red Bull Salzburg 1-0 down to Atletico Madrid, and Bayern Munich are beating Lokomotiv Moscow 1-0, which means that both Atletico and Bayern Munich will be going through to the next round of the Champions League. Red Bull Salzburg need to score 2 goals if they want to get through to the knockout stages. They've still got a chance. They've got to beat Atletico Madrid tonight. They've had their fair share of chances, but haven't put the ball into the back of the net so far. Manchester City 1-0 up against Marseille. It was Ferran Torres with the goal in that match. He'd had a fairly quiet first half of action, but he did put the ball into the back of the net. And as for that, Olympiacos 1-0 down to Porto, which means that because Marseille losing right now, Olympiacos will go to the Europa League round of 32. But if Marseille pick up a point and Olympiacos lose the game, it means that Marseille will go through to the Europa League round of 32. Let's go back to KL once again. There's been a flurry of chances in the last 5 minutes in this match. Who's had the chance this time, Kieran?
It's Real Madrid. And if you flash back a few weeks, Josh, I remember we saw Real Madrid striker Benzema say, "Don't pass to Vinicius, he's playing against us." Well, they're 3-on-2 and Benzema squares through Vinicius, and all he's got to do is put it past the goalkeeper, and he tries to pass it back to Benzema, and it's intercepted. All he had to do was put it past Jan Sommer to his right-hand side. He tries to find Benzema, of course, his old friend from a couple of weeks ago, and to the detriment of the team, and it's still 2-0.
Well, old friends might become adversaries after the game. It's still 2-0, but at least they're winning in this situation.
Yeah.
And there's less pressure on them to score it in the end. But 2-0 to Real Madrid as currently stands. Thank you, Kyle, as always. Are we going to see any more goals in that match? It's been a lively one in the last few minutes. We will have to find out indeed. We've got a few changes coming on in the game between Bayern Munich and Lokomotiv Moscow. Of course, Bayern Munich winning 1-0 in this game as it currently stands. Boateng has come off with Chris Richards coming onto the pitch, and Alphonso Davies has come off as well, with Lucas Hernandez coming onto the pitch. So a few changes in that game for Bayern Munich at the back. Of course, they can start resting players now. In fact, they could have started resting players after match day 2, if we're being honest. They kind of got the top spot pretty much after that point, with Atletico Madrid dropping points. But we've got about 25 minutes left of action, and it is incredibly tight here between Inter Milan and Shakhtar. There was a good kind of 15-minute spell where Inter Milan were doing very well indeed, but Shakhtar have now started to take the game to Inter Milan. There was another good opportunity a few moments ago. I think it was Tete who came off the pitch, was subbed off for Alan Patrick. He'd come on and tried to flick a ball into the box towards Tyson, which he just missed, and it is getting very, very feisty in this match and very, very exciting indeed. But we've got a change in the match. Ashley Young is coming off. Ivan Perisic is coming on. So a much more attacking change coming on this game. Of course, if Inter Milan win, they could still go through to the UEFA Champions League knockout stages. God knows what's going to happen in this last dramatic 20 minutes, because we are going over once again to Kieran L. There's been another chance in that game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Who's had the chance this time, Kieran?
It's Real Madrid again, and it's an unbelievable chance. And to be honest, I thought it was in again as it was going towards goal. And it was some lovely football in close quarters in and around the box. And it finished with a lovely 1-2 between Modric and Benzema before it fell to the feet of Rodrigo. And his snapshot looked like it was going in to Sommer's bottom right corner, but it just went past the post. It's been a really good second half and a really good game, Josh, if you're Real Madrid.
If you're Real Madrid, Gladbach fans will not be liking it tonight. Thank you very much, Kale, as always. Gladbach still going through to the next round as it currently stands in this game. However, if either of these two teams scores in the match that I'm watching tonight between Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk, then it does potentially mean that Gladbach could be dumped out of the Champions League. They are guaranteed, remember Gladbach, a spot in the third round. Not the third round, the round of 32 in the Europa League. They can finish third, but it all depends on what happens in this game, whether they're going to be the Champions League or the Europa League. As it currently stands, they're in the Champions League knockout stages, but anything can change with 20 minutes of action. Good news for Manchester City fans, because we have a substitution in that match. Sergio Aguero is coming onto the pitch for the first time in quite a while. He's coming on for Riyad Mahrez. And then there's also been a yellow card in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid, a yellow for Junuzovic. And as that's happened as well, we've had a few more changes in that game between Man City and Marseille. This time for the away side, Rongier has come on for Kamara, and Cuisance has come on for Dimitri Payet. So a few changes in that game as Marseille try to look to get an equalising goal. Of course, remember that if Marseille can get a point in this game and Olympiacos lose, then it does mean that Marseille will be going through to the Europa League round of 32. Let's take a moment to have a look at your comments in the chat. We've got 20 minutes of action now. It's so exciting with this final match day. Who's going through and who's going out? It's very, very nervous indeed. Everton are the best team in the world, and Chris fighting in the chat on this one. Everton saying, oh, look, the Liverpool fans are crying about VAR when it helped them win the league last season. Bless their little hearts, victims of it all. You want a history lesson? This will sound at Liverpool fans. Anfield was actually our stadium back in the days before Liverpool came along after John Holding kicking us out for no reason. It's a history lesson now. You want to talk about history, you Liverpool fans? That's history for you. Everton are bigger than Liverpool. Facts. Liverpool needed investment back in that day. Bringing the facts to the table now. Who's going to come back? Who is going to put a comeback to that? You'll have somebody's got to do it in the comments at the very least. Somebody's got to back up Liverpool. Chris will probably put something in there soon. But we've had a change of the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Patson Daka's come off the pitch, and Noah Okafor, the Swiss winger, has come on. So another attacking change in that game. Salzburg need to score 2 if they want to go through to the Champions League knockout stages. But as it currently stands, they will be going through to the Europa League round of 32. Nervous times indeed here at Inter Milan and Shakhtar. It is still incredibly, incredibly cagey. I do see one of these teams scoring a goal, but I've got a feeling it's going to happen in the last 5 minutes, and I don't honestly know which team is going to score it. It's so end-to-end. It's been an incredibly, incredibly enjoyable match to watch so far, but I don't know who's going to score the goal, because Inter Milan, they had a good 10 or 15 minute spell at the start. Then Shakhtar had a good spell. Now Inter Milan are having a good spell. It's absolutely unbelievable. And they're just coming forward here once again. Inter Milan, Barella flicks the ball into the box towards Lautaro Martinez, who could have put the ball in the back of the net, but he just slips as he takes the opportunity on. And if he'd got the right connection on that, we could have been saying 1-0 to Inter Milan in that. And to be honest, it was a good block from Stepanenko as well. But let's go over to Kieran, because there has been a massive chance in the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Could it have been free, Kieran?
Yeah, massive is an understatement. I tell you what, it's absolutely unbelievable. A corner is recycled back to the left-hand side. Cruz gets it in. Who's there? It's Ramos with a great header. And Jan Sommer's at full stretch to his left. A great reflex save. But he palms it into the path of Benzema, who hits it off the underside of the bar. It bounces off the line and bounces out. I cannot believe he's missed from about 7 yards. But it's an absolutely unbelievable end to this game. And it's all Real Madrid. That's the problem. But they should be 3-0 up.
It's nervous indeed. 18 minutes of action left around in both games. And of course, Shakhtar will have very nervous eyes on that Gladbach game. As much as Gladbach will have very nervous eyes on this Inter match as well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at the end of the night. Thank you very much, Kale, as always. There will be some nail-biting Gladbach fans right now who are thinking, don't score, Shakhtar, or else it will put them into the Europa League. And they had a massive chance to come forward on the counter-attack. This game is a live wire. This has been a really enjoyable 0-0 so far. And both teams, it's end-to-end. There's not really a large spell in this last 5 or so minutes where you can say a team's dominating it. Lukaku's hit a ball long towards Lautaro Martinez. It's a desperate clearance in the end for Kochalava. His clearance very nearly went to Lautaro Martinez, but ultimately the goalkeeper got there in the end. And it's incredible to watch. Such a good game. And as I said, you kind of don't want a match like this to end because you know that both teams have got so much on the line in this situation. Inter Milan have got to go for it. And I think Eriksen will probably be the next player to come on very soon. Get somebody else creative on there. Maybe even bring on somebody like, I'm pretty sure Esposito is on the bench. Or Alexis Sanchez is as well. He's not come on yet. So be interested to see if either of those players do come on with about 15 minutes left of the match. But we've had a few substitutions in the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo have both come off. And Arribas and Asensio have come on. Of course, Real Madrid looking quite good right now in that match. But Shakhtar are on the counter-attack here. They're just at the edge of the box. This could be a good opportunity in this game. Solomon takes a shot from outside of the box. The shot is blocked. Tyson's taken the shot, low driven towards the bottom left-hand corner inside of the box. And he's just not hit it well enough. And it rolls into the hands of Handanovic. And now there's a chance here for Inter Milan to counter-attack. The ball is fed from Handanovic straight to Lukaku. But his first touch is poor and it lets him down. And Alexis Sanchez will be coming onto the pitch here with 15 minutes left. Gagliardini coming off, as you would expect. 3 attacking players up top now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But let's go to KD because there's been a chance in that match between the Red Bull Salzburg game and Atletico Madrid. Who's had the chance this time, Kieran?
Josh, it's happened again. Mwepu from about 24 or so yards hits the post for Red Bull Salzburg. They must be the most unluckiest side I've ever watched. I mean, Atletico Madrid are just nice and they're settling into their shape now, as they would. I am absolutely screaming at Mwepu to hit this from about 20 yards, 25 yards. He does hit it, and it just clips the post and goes wide. And I mean, Adeyemi is getting ready to come on, and it would be an absolute... This is the time for him to make his name, Adeyemi. They need 2 goals in 13 minutes plus added time, probably about 16 or so minutes left. 2 goals needed, but it's still 1-0 to Atletico Madrid.
Very nervous indeed. Thank you, Katie, as always. 1-0 to Atletico Madrid in that match. There's still arguing in the comments between Liverpool and Everton. You love to see it. Oh, man, this game is incredible to watch because Shakhtar are coming forward on the attack. I've turned off the goal show because I don't want it to spoil anything in terms of this match right now. There's got to be a goal soon in this game. There has to be. Both teams are relentless right now, but they just can't seem to get that goal to not even open the game up. The game is completely open. It's just get that goal to put the pressure on the other side because it is like a cup final for both of these teams right now. And it's Shakhtar coming forward here. Tyson lays the ball off into the path of Solomon, who's running down that right-hand side of the pitch. Good run from the Israelian. He's going to lay the ball into the path of Kovalenko, who's about 35 yards out from goal. He's going to switch the play towards the path of Matyevenko on the left wing. Going to come forward here. And they're just taking their time. So while they take their time, let's go over to KD once again. There's been a chance between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Who's had the chance this time, Kieran?
Well, I don't even need to say who's had the chance again, Josh. It's Red Bull Salzburg. And it's Okafor after absolutely fantastic football. 1 touch. 1-2s all around the park. It was a good ball from Junazovic, flicked on by Okafor, Koita with a little back heel back to Okafor, and he just boots it over the crossbar from about 5 yards out. I cannot believe how frustrated I am at a neutral game. It's still 1-0 with 11 minutes left.
Unbelievable. Let's go over to Kieran now, because there's been a chance in his game between Real Madrid and Gladbach. Who's had the chance this time, Kieran?
I don't know how it's 2-0. Real Madrid have hit the post again. I think it's Lucas Vazquez. Yeah, he's up from right back, or he may have switched to the right wing, but he's on the edge of the box and he turns with the ball and he hits it first time on his right foot towards the near post, and it hits the post and bounces out. I'm not saying it'll happen, but if Mönchengladbach, for example, get 2 back, I do not know how Real Madrid haven't got at least 4 in this game.
Unbelievable match to watch so far. Thank you, Kieran L, as always. 2-0 to Real Madrid against Gladbach. It's so nervous here. It's Inter Milan on the attack, and it's relentless right now. We've had a substitution in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Adeyemi's come on for Koita. But we're going to go over to Will, because there's been a goal in the Bayern Munich Lokomotiv Moscow game. Bayern 2-0 up, Will?
They are indeed 2-0 up, and again, nothing's really changed. Bayern have been dominating this game, even when they've brought the substitutes on. And it's Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting who scored for Bayern Munich. You'll be pleased to hear, Josh. Just a really nice move from Bayern Munich. Sane cuts on the right-hand side. He finds Gnabry. Gnabry on the edge of the box. Just shifts at the defenders, slips it through to Choupo-Moting, and then just puts it into the roof of the net. It's a fantastic finish from the legendary striker himself. Bayern Munich 2-0 up. This game is over. It's been over for a while, but I'm glad that Choupo-Moting's managed to get his goal, and Bayern move on for the group stage with another win.
Well, that's what happens when you put the greatest striker in the world on the pitch. Thank you very much, Will. As always, Bayern Munich now 2-0 against Lokomotiv Moscow. Of course, Choupo-Moting was going to score. He's the greatest striker that's ever existed in the history of football. There's been some changes in the game between Manchester City and Marseille. Marseille have brought on Kevin Strootman. Strootman has come off, I think. I don't know. He says Strootman, Ake's come on for Guy, Tauvin off. So people are coming off and on the pitch either way in that situation. I think Tauvin's come off, and I think Strootman's come on. Yeah, Strootman and Ake are on. Tauvin has come off. So a few changes in that game right now. But let's go over to KD, because there's been a chance in the match between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Have they hit the bar by any chance, Kieran, Red Bull Salzburg?
No, but Marcus Llorente is dancing at the moment, but he's cleared away. But it was actually a chance for Atletico Madrid, Josh. The first time they've really ventured forward in the second half at all. And it was a little ricochet back to João Felix on the edge of the box. And he hits it with so much venom, and it's a really good save by Stankovic in the net to keep his side in it. I know there's only 9 minutes left, but there's got to be a chance. But at the moment, Atletico Madrid are keeping it into Red Bull Salzburg territory. However, João Felix has just given the ball away. And there's a long ball for Adeyemi to chase. And if he can get in, he is 1-on-1. But of course, there is a man back there, and I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself here, because 8 minutes, it seems like a very, very tall task to do.
It's a very tough task indeed. Thank you very much, Katie, as always, because we've had a goal elsewhere in the match between Manchester City and Marseille. Have Manchester City made it 2-0 to the good Rowan, or are Marseille back in the game?
Well, after some confusion with the subs, Benedetto has come on for Germain. But unfortunately, it's Manchester City who scored. Andrew Villas-Boas gave everything with his attacking subs. Unfortunately, City have gone and scored. Corner came in. Ake jumps up, beats all the Marseille players. Lovely header. Just bounces off the floor. Mandanda stops it. It's a great save by Mandanda. Spills it right in front of him. And Sergio Aguero with the poacher's finish pokes it back in the net. Manchester City are 2-0 up. And Villas-Boas just gave everything. He brought on 2 strikers, I think. And thingy, but he brought on Benedetto to create something. Hasn't, unfortunately. Ferran Torres chips it across. Aguero can't get in. Goes out for a goal corner for City, but City now really feeling it. After the subs from Marseille, it seems like City have made the most out of them.
They have indeed 2-0 up in this game. Marseille looking like they're going to be going out of the Champions League and not even making it into the Europa League. Thank you very much, Rowan. As always, good performance from Manchester City tonight. Even without the biggest players on the pitch, good to see that they are winning games. As always, been a pretty easy group for them, if we're being honest. I think Manchester City fans will be fairly delighted. Can't put the chat over the back and forth banter between Chris and Everton, the best team in the world. Will get involved as well. Since the last time Everton won the league, Henderson has been born, grown up, and signed for LFC, become club captain, and won the league himself. We love the banter in the chat. We'll join in there as well. Good to see. And Cal Sport, now it's 2-1 in favour of Liverpool. The more, the better. Exactly. If more people want to just jump in and argue with it, it makes it more exciting. But what is even more exciting than that is we are down to the final 10 minutes of action in the Champions League tonight. And my lord, this game is going on between Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk, and it is attack. Both teams are not stopping for each other because they know if they win this game right now, it's in their hands to at least get Europa League or Champions League football. They both don't want to go out of these competitions. They both know they're quite good teams and could go far in them. Inter Milan, you'd expect them to, if they did get Europa League football, potentially go on and win it. Shakhtar, you'd expect them to go and do quite well. It's end-to-end right now. There's a long ball from Alexis Sanchez. He's flicked it up to Hakimi, who'd made a bombing run down the right-hand side and pushed into the middle, but his ball's a little bit too heavy. And with 8 minutes left of the match, Christian Eriksen, who has shaved the majority of his hair off, he's looked like he's nearly gone bald, has come onto the pitch here with about 8 minutes left. Can he be the match winner? Remember, he's kind of career at Inter Milan is up in arms right now, whether he's going to be there at the end of January because, well, he's not really done much, has he, to be honest, while at Inter Milan. They don't seem to be a massive fan of it at all, but very, very nervous indeed. 7 minutes left. Remember, if somebody goes on and wins this game, they could potentially knock either one of these two sides out themselves or potentially, of course, Gladbach going into the third place Europa spot, knock Gladbach out of the Champions League top two. It's very exciting indeed. There's been a substitution in the game between Bayern Munich and Lokomotiv Moscow. Leroy Sané has come off and Stiller has come on. That's not Ben Stiller. Don't get confused with Ben Stiller there coming on. Although there's been a goal in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. And hold on to your hats. Is it a goal for Salzburg or is it a goal for Atletico Madrid?
Well, Josh, they have done it. Atletico Madrid are 2-0 up. It's Carrasco, and I am very, very frustrated. As a neutral fan in this, I think the goal is going to be checked for offside, by the way, just before I get ahead of myself. It's an absolutely fantastic goal, I'm not going to lie. It's a pitch-perfect cross from, I think it's Correa, and on the volley, Yannick Carrasco hits it in, and it's such a good goal. But Salzburg, they only have themselves to blame.
Very, very unlucky for Salzburg. They've had plenty of chances tonight, but ultimately, in the end, they are going to be going out of the Champions League and into the Europa League round of 32, which certainly is a bad thing for them. They probably expected that to happen, and they did valiantly well to get all the way towards last match day and be fighting for the spot in the knockout stages. But thank you very much, KD. 2-0 to Atletico Madrid. That game is done and dusted. We shouldn't see a goal, any chance of a comeback in that match, at the very least. Hakimi has come off the pitch. Matteo Darmian has come on. And I believe D'Ambrosio has come onto the pitch as well, and Bastoni has come off. So a few more changes in this game. 5 minutes left of this match. It is nervous right now, pretty much in the rest of the groups now. Everything is done. Atletico Madrid will going through to the knockout stages. Marseille knocked out. It's all down to this Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk game now. Real Madrid are 2-0 up against Gladbach, which means, depending on the results, let me just get my notes up because it's a stupidly complex group right now. Shakhtar will go through if they beat Inter Milan or if both games are drawn. Of course, both games aren't going to be drawn here. So if they beat Inter, they will go through. Shakhtar could have won the group if they win the game and Gladbach don't. So it's nervous right now because if Shakhtar win, Gladbach are losing. Shakhtar can top the group if they win. Nervous times. Dentinho is coming onto the pitch here for Tyson with about 4 minutes left. They have a chance to go and win this group. You can see right now on my screen, look at this. Look at the drama. Kieran is nervous. He's agitated, of course, as the Gladbach correspondent, and he loves Gladbach at the end of the day. He wants to see them go through. And to be honest, they deserve to go through. But there's 4 minutes left, and it's gung-ho from both sides. There's a free kick throw in here, which has been lofted into the box for Inter Milan. Comes down towards Eriksen, doesn't come to anything in the end, and it's a slow build-up of play here. Now, Inter, they can go through. If they beat Shakhtar, the other game is drawn. Inter will finish fourth if they do not win. Of course, as it currently stands, they are going to finish fourth, and it's Shakhtar who are coming forward on that right-hand side of the pitch. Solomon, he's got round 3 defenders, but he's just going to slow the ball down here. Oh, it's a lovely bit of skill. He just does a roulette past Eriksen there. Have that. He's going to lay the ball off into the path of Alan Patrick. Desperate times here for Shakhtar Donetsk in this game. They could top the group. There's 3 minutes left, and I think We'll probably see maybe 2 or 3 minutes of additional time in this game. Do expect some major limbs if either one of these two teams goes on and scores a winner, because it's a massive moment for either side. But Handanovic has got the ball in his hand, and he's it's going to be Inter Milan on the counter-attack now, and it's De Vrij who's going to lay the ball to the left-hand side of the pitch, and it's nervous times indeed. There's been 2 changes in the match between Atletico Madrid and Red Bull Salzburg. Lucas Torreira and Thomas Lemar, who scored at the weekend, has come on. João Felix and Yannick Ferreira Carrasco have both come off the pitch. So a few changes there. Of course, Atletico Madrid winning 2-0. Big chances here in this match now. It's nervous times. If you're an Inter fan, ball's been lofted in towards Lukaku. Alexis Sanchez with the header, and he's just over the post. And it was a big chance for Alexis Sanchez to go and win the game. And all he had to do was put that header down low to the ground, and maybe it could have been a different situation in this match. And the ball ultimately goes out of play for a goal kick. And it was a really big chance there for Alexis Sanchez to score the winning goal in this game. There's been another change, in fact, 2 changes for Salzburg in their game against Atletico Madrid. Okagawa has come on and Soboslai has come off, or Soboslai, of course, and then Ongwene has come on and Woba has come off. But there could be a chance here for Inter Milan to come forward. Ball's with Eriksson. He's gone for a long-range effort. He's about 40 yards out, and he's just wide of the right-hand side of the post, and he's deflected off a Shakhtar defender. I'm just trying to see who it was in the end. It was Kochalava, the substitute, who just got a slight touch on the ball, and they've got a corner here, Inter Milan. Of course, it's still a little bit too early in the game to bring anyone like Handanovic up. We've still got a minute and a half of normal time. It's going to be a corner, though, and Lukaku is the man you'd expect the ball to be lofted to. Big chance in this game. Eriksson on the corner, lofts the ball into the box. Oh, Romelu Lukaku, it's off the line. Oh, my Lord, it's a big chance there. And ultimately, I think the referee has pulled it back here for a foul in the build-up from that corner. And it was a big chance. And in fact, Romelu Lukaku, it came off his own head and he hadn't even realised it. It was a header, I think, from De Vrij. It'd come off Lukaku's head and it actually been cleared off the line by Romelu Lukaku. Well, we saw something very similar in the Europa League, if you remember, when Romelu Lukaku very nearly, in fact, I think scored in that game and then pretty much cleared it off the line. But big chance there for Inter Milan. We've got 2 minutes of additional time in Real Madrid and Gladbach. We've got 3 minutes of additional time in the game between Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. But let's go over to Rome, because there's a dangerous free kick in the game between Manchester City and Rowan. Manchester City and Rowan? Manchester City and Marseille?
Yeah, I'd love to play City. No, it's for Manchester
Maybe
City.
one day.
Maybe one. That's a big ask. It's a big opportunity for City to put this game to bed. Marseille have had a couple of chances. Most notably, Quaison's had the ball outside the box. He just couldn't take a shot. Tries to play through to the wing to Benedetto. But it seems like your game's much more interesting than mine, as Foden standing over.
I can't believe that. The header that Alexis Sanchez had got, it was Alexis Sanchez, was cleared by Lukaku. Had Lukaku not been in the way, that would have been a goal. It would have been in the back of the net. The goalkeeper was beaten. Lukaku was in the way. He's blocked it off the line, and unbelievable. But good update there from Rowan. Thank you very much as always. 2-0 to Manchester City.
By the way, I'd just like to say it was to the wide. It looked like it was going in.
Very lucky indeed. Thank you, Rowan, as always. We've got 4 minutes of additional time in this game. Alexis Sanchez, he's coming forward. He's dancing his way through. Chance for the ball to be lofted into the box towards Romelu Lukaku. He's desperately cleared away by Shakhtar. Going to be a throw in here in a very good position. Perisic is going to play the ball, and it's furious Brozovic there. The ball has been hoofed out of play because there's a player down right now for Shakhtar for cramp, and no doubt this is going to bring a little bit of extra time for Shakhtar or Inter to try and win this game as Dodo goes down with cramp, and of course Shakhtar trying to waste some time here. It's full time in the game between Real Madrid and Gladbach, which means if Shakhtar wins this game, they will go top of the group and Gladbach will drop down into third. Massive final few minutes of action here. It's full time in the game between Red Bull Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. They're through to the next round of the Champions League, Atletico Madrid. Salzburg drop into the Europa League round of 32. And it's also full time at the game between Bayern Munich and Lokomotiv Moscow. Bayern Munich tabletop, and of course, Moscow out. But let's go back to this game. It's the only game left of the night now. Drama central in this match. Antonio Conte has been yellow carded. He's fuming. And the fact Dodo had gone down to try and waste some time. And as you would expect, you would think that'd be another 20, 30 seconds added on. There's going to be a long throw-in taken here by Ivan Perisic, but the referee stopped play here for a second. There's going to be more added time. He takes it short. Ball's laid to Brozovic. He's going to flick a ball into the box. It's a really good cross, and it's a good punch away in the end. Eriksson at the edge of the box. Oh, what a save in the end there from the goalkeeper, Trubin, with a massive, massive save. And it looks like there's going to be a corner here for Inter Milan. Christian Eriksen is going to take it. And I would assume at this stage, Handanovic has surely got to come up for the corner. Surely. Honestly, an incredible match this has been. It's nail-biting stuff. And Luis Castro has now gone into the boat. The referee just bringing out the yellow card for both managers now. And we've also got another Shakhtar player down. It's the goalkeeper now, which means there's surely going to be even more time added on in this game. So let's hope that things are going to be all right here. But, oh, my Lord, it's nail-biting stuff. It's nail-biting stuff. Everton for Life still arguing in the chat. Ancelotti came to the best club and only club in Merseyside. Did you know a ship called the Premiership has never docked at Liverpool FC for 30 years? And then Chris put, come on, lad. That is the best you can do. These Everton fans keep saying the same thing. But Trubin has gone down. But while Trubin has gone down here and he's still injured, we've got a goal elsewhere. Roman's game between Manchester City and Marseille. There's been another goal in that one. Manchester City 3-0 up now, Roman?
They are. I mean, KD's just putting the track 2-0 all over the park. As soon as he put that, City put the ball back in the net. Ferran Torres is open on the right, like so much space, puts the ball into the box. And that's Foden slips, but it's a weird ball. Ferran Torres drills it, and the ball gets drilled in right into the middle. Mandanda comes out to collect it, parries it away. It's a good stop by Mandanda, stops it from going to Sterling, who's open. But it's Alvaro who is just stood there. It hits his chest, and it falls straight to Raheem Sterling, who thumps it into the back of the net from 1 yard out. Easy goal for Manchester City, and easy, comfortable win. Unfortunate for Marseille.
Very good win indeed for Manchester City tonight. Thank you, Rowan, as always. We are still waiting for the goalkeeper to get up here. The goalkeeper is injured. I believe Shakhtar have used all 5 changes. He's just got to continue in goal. And we've got a corner here for Inter Milan. Big chance in this game for them potentially to get a winner. It's nervous times. Big chance here for Christian Eriksen. He's going to whip the ball into the box. Handanovic is up. Tries to get the ball towards Handanovic. They've got the ball back here. Alexis Sanchez. He's on the left wing. But some good defending at the back. And I would assume here we've probably got another minute and a half, 2 minutes because of the centre-back going down and the goalkeeper going down. We've got a long throw in there. It's going to be taken by Ivan Perisic. It's taken long. Gets it towards Lukaku. And it's going to go out, I think, here for a corner. A corner. Handanovic stays up. This is a big opportunity for them to try and get a winner in this game. Christian Eriksen is going to take it. Handanovic is up. There's probably about another minute of action left here. If Shakhtar can go at the other end, they would score a winner. But Eriksen's going to whip this in. It's come towards the path of Alexis Sanchez. And now they've hoofed it up the pitch. And the referee's going to play on. It's 2 versus 1 here. But they're going to get the ball back. Really good pass there from Brozovic. And they're just going to pass it around the back now into Milan. And very nervous times indeed. They're going to hit it long ball. Brozovic flips it to the right-hand side of the pitch, and every player and his man is up. Long ball towards Romelu Lukaku, trying to get it down. It's come towards Lukaku, and it's straight to the hands of the keeper. And surely that will be that. Trubin holds on to the ball, and I think that is surely going to be game over. Well, Luis Castro, he's saying about his watch, he wants the game to be done and dusted now. Trubin's going to hit the ball. He hits it long, of course. We're probably now over the expected time in the game. They've got the ball back here, though, Shakhtar, but they just can't do anything with it. And Brozovic gets the ball. They've hit it long, trying to get it into the path of Alexis Sanchez. Headed down there from Kochalava. Cleared away in the end by, I think, Stepanenko. It's come to Lukaku on the right wing. He's taken a touch on the ball. He gets around the defender. Really good work from Lukaku. Flicks the ball into the box. Tries to get it towards Perisic, and it's cleared away once again. Referee still playing on in this match. Nervous times here for Shakhtar, yes, but the ball's been given away. Romelu Lukaku tries to flick a ball into the box. He's come down in the end. Perisic lays the ball to Eriksen, and he's offside, and surely that will be that in this game. We are now 6 minutes into the match, and the referee has not blown his whistle yet. And that should surely be it in the game. And my Lord, well, it's been a nervy end, and what a game this has been. 0-0. It's been an incredible match to watch. Absolutely nail-biting. And the fact this hasn't had a goal in it, I have no idea at all. We're now into the 7th minute, of additional time, and the referee's going to play on here. Shakhtar are pretty adamant that they want to take a point here and go into the Europa League, as you would expect, because if they don't, then it could be a potential win here for Inter Milan. But the referee, I think he's going to bring out a yellow card here for the goalkeeper for time wasting, and he's going to continue on with the match. There's going to be a throw in here for Inter Milan, and everyone is up. The referee is playing on. What is this game? Surely we're not going to see a winner. Ball is hoofed into the box. Everyone is up. Header from Eriksson. It's come down in the end. Oh, and it's been given as a free kick, and I thought there was a chance there in the end. But the referee, he blows his whistle, and look at those celebrations from Kieran now, because Gladbach have held on to their Champions League spot. Shakhtar will be going through to the Europa League round of 32. And right at the death, it looked like it was going to be a potential chance for Inter Milan to go on and win the game. And it was D'Ambrosio who thought he'd connected with the ball and tried to smash it into the back of the net. But ultimately, it was given as a free kick. The referee blows his whistle. Oh, my Lord, take a breather, because the Champions League is done. And it's ended in the most dramatic fashion it possibly could have. Shame we didn't get a goal in the end of this one. But it ends 0-0 between Inter Milan and Shakhtar Donetsk. And that is the Champions League done. And I need to take a breather. What a match indeed. Carl's put in the chat, with knowing the teams that are through, who you see winning it, we'll come back to that question in a little bit, because we're at full time across all the matches tonight now. Inter Milan in a 0-0 draw against Shakhtar Donetsk. Real Madrid beat Gladbach 2-0. Atletico Madrid beat Red Bull Salzburg 2-0. Bayern Munich with a 2-0 win against Lokomotiv Moscow. Manchester City with a 3-0 win against Marseille. And Porto beat Olympiacos 1-0. So let's have a look at how the groups are standing at the end of the Champions League. And my God, I need to take a breather, because that was dramatic indeed. So Group A finishes with Bayern Munich going through in first place, Atletico Madrid in second, Red Bull Salzburg dropping into the Europa League. Group B, it means that Gladbach, they hold on to their Champions League spot. Shakhtar go through in third place. Inter Milan finish bottom of the group. Real Madrid finish as the league group leaders with 10 points. In Group C, Manchester City and Porto, they already finished in first and second. Olympiacos will be going through to the Europa League knockout stages after Manchester City beating Marseille. In Group D, it's Liverpool and Atalanta that go through from the early kickoffs. Ajax will be dropping down to the Europa League, with Midtjylland finishing in fourth. Chelsea and Sevilla, they both went through a few weeks ago, in fact. Krasnodar going through to the Europa League in Group E. In Group F, it was Dortmund and Lazio that went through to the next round. Club Brugge in third place. Zenit finishing in fourth. And then Group G, Juventus and Barcelona, they finished in first and second. Juventus, of course, beating Barcelona last night 3-0, which means that they finished as the group leaders. Dynamo Kiev going into the Europa League. And then the final group, of course, PSG and RB Leipzig finishing first and second. Manchester United dropping into the Europa League. What a night of action. And I think we've got to start off with the first game. We've got to bring him in. Real Madrid, Gladbach. Gladbach, they lost the game in the end, but Kieran out after that 0-0 draw, the nail-biting match. Gladbach hold on. They're through to the knockout stage of the Champions League.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm absolutely distraught. I'm so happy with Gladbach. I think that, to be fair, they've probably deserved it. I think on reflection of the group so far, I think these were the right two teams to go through. It got nervy towards the end, Josh. I was kicking every ball with the Shakhtar defenders. But I think overall it's been a great campaign from Gladbach. Not the greatest performance tonight, but they've impressed a lot of people throughout this group stage. And Inter Milan, I mean, where do they go from here? Bottom of the group and out of Europe completely. But I'm happy for my boys.
Fantastic indeed for Gladbach tonight. Good result. 2-0 win there for Real Madrid. They did lose the game, but they're through to the next round for the first time in the Champions League. Well done and a good game overall, Kyle. Thank you very much, as always. Let's go on to the group with Real Madrid, Salzburg and Atletico Madrid. Ultimately, Kieran did tonight. Salzburg, they knew what they had to do. They had to go out there and win the game. But Atletico Madrid, as you would expect, the best way to put it, shit-ass performance, isn't it, from Atletico Madrid?
Yeah, typical Diego Conte, Diego Simeone, really. I've never watched a team for like so many weeks in a row and been that frustrated after every single match they've played. They could have won tonight. They should have beaten Bayern Munich twice. Of course, they did get the win over Lokomotiv Moscow. but they just make it hard for themselves. And there's many times in that game, the Szoboszlai one-on-one, Daka had countless opportunities to make it 1-1 and get a foothold back in the game and then go from there. But for Salzburg, of course, they will be a difficult team to beat in the Europa League. But if they could score goals, they'd have gone through this group quite comfortably, I think, which is shocking to say with a group with Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid in it.
And you have to give them credit. It's a good performance from them overall in the group. And of course, now they drop down to the Europa League. I mean, they're going to be a tough team to play, aren't they, Kieran?
Yeah, they're going to be a tough team to play, but if they can't score, then they might not get very far, of course. They're going to get probably a more favourable tie, as the Champions League dropouts normally do get a more favourable tie. Let's see how far they can go, because I'd like to see them. I'd like to watch them again, is what I'm trying to say.
It's going to be interesting to see how they do in February. Of course, that's when the round of 32 takes place. But a 2-0 loss tonight means that Salzburg drop down to the Europa League. Atletico Madrid go through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. Thank you very much, KD, as always. Let's go on to the other game of the group. Ultimately tonight, this game didn't really have much on it. Lokomotiv Moscow had to beat Bayern Munich if they wanted to get through to the Europa League. But ultimately tonight, Bayern Munich, they didn't have to play the biggest players on the pitch, and it's a fairly comfortable result.
Yeah, really comfortable result. They knew coming into this game that they'd already won the group, and they just dominate the game. And to be honest with you, Josh, I don't think they ever left second gear. I said Lokomotiv, they should have changed the approach in the second half, which they tried to do, but Bayern Munich, they're just so good. Even though they rotated, they're just so good. And Hansi Flick, you could tell he drilled the players. I know we're already won the group, but I want to win this game as well. And Bayern Munich just would not stop pressing for the entire game. They got the goal from Sewell. I thought he could have had maybe a hat-trick of headers, Sewell, because he's so dominant from the corners. And Choupo-Moting obviously got the second goal to 1 second. What? That was my father walking in on me while I was talking. But yeah. Like I said, Bayern Munich, they were never a threat by Lokomotiv Moscow at all. And they get another win, and we'll see what they get on Monday in the draw.
You want to get that on the sports corner, eh? Thank you very much, Will, as always. Good win tonight for Bayern Munich against Lokomotiv Moscow. You only get that on the sports corner. That's where you get all the good content. Let's go on to the game between Manchester City and Marseille now. Big win tonight for Manchester City, but for Marseille, it was a 3-0 loss, Rowan. But they've got to take some plaudits. They did very well in this match tonight.
That's the thing. They put up a fight that most teams, when they're sort of destined to go out, and they did. Like, you look at the stats in that first half, it was a competitive game. And then unfortunately, the second half, they collapsed. The Ferran Torres goal early on really just demoralised them. Then when Aguero put it in after all the subs, late goal from Sterling. They managed to keep the ball in possession, which I think would have been good if they could create something from that. Unfortunately, they just didn't have a dig, or they just didn't try, unfortunately. But well done to Manchester City. Get through. I think, is that all the English teams through?
Right, indeed.
Still in Europe then, at least. One thing I'd like to say, finally the Bundesliga is showing. All the Bundesliga sides going through.
Which is
next round, which I like to say.
Very, very good indeed for the Bundesliga, and of course for Manchester City tonight, a good result. It was a fairly easy group anyway, and a good result overall. Thank you very much, Ron, as always. 3-0 to Manchester City tonight against Marseille, and then finally the game that went on, of course, Olympiacos tonight. The power was in their hands to go through to the Europa League round of 32. They did lose to Porto in the end, but because Manchester City beat Marseille, they go through into the Europa League. And we know last year they were quite a tough side to face. When they came up against Arsenal, they gave them a very good game indeed, and it should be interesting to see how that goes in the Europa League round of 32. Let's bring the boys back in, because it's been a fantastic 6 match days of action, and I can now finally ask the question that I've been dying to ask now for weeks. We've seen all these teams in action now. We've seen them 6 times. Who, for you, is the favourite to go and win the Champions League? I'm going to start with Will.
Liverpool, obviously.
So Liverpool, is that because you're a Liverpool fan, or are you just thinking genuinely you think Liverpool will go on and win it?
No, look, they're my team. I'm obviously going to back, and there is a bit of bias to it all the time, but I genuinely think that even though with the injuries we've suffered, we're going to start getting some players back. And Klopp, he just knows how to win these big European ties. Obviously, last year we had that knockout round game against Atletico. That's because we had a lamppost in goal and Adrian, who couldn't even stop anything. So, we'll have to get our Alisson in the goal this time. You say, actually, better stop the ball. And I think Liverpool, they want revenge. They want to go far in the competition again. I think they've got the squad to do so. So, yeah, I'm back in Liverpool again this year.
Well, let's hope they don't get Atletico Madrid in the second round, because it is quite easily possible that could happen again. Kieran, who do you think is the favourite to go on and win the Champions League?
Is it Gladbach? By the chance?
No, I was going to say, unlike Will, I feel like if I back Gladbach, I'm kind of reaching a little bit. So I'll go with who I've said from the very start, and that was Juventus, because I just believe, in my heart of hearts, I can't see Buffon ending his career without a Champions League, and that man surely hasn't got long left. Not death, but in terms of like his playing career.
I don't think they were thinking death.
Yeah, I hope no one was ever thinking death for Buffon. That's the last thing we want at all. But
That's
Juventus,
football players, when they retire, they die.
it's a good shout indeed with Juventus. Rowan, who are you feeling is the kind of a favourite to go on and win?
Again, I'd love to say Dortmund, but it's Bayern for me. They are unstoppable. It's just, they're the side to beat for me.
I mean, the performances they've put, I'm just looking at the record now, 5 wins, 1 draw. They scored 18 goals, conceded 5, which I'm pretty sure, I'm just looking down right now, 18 goals, considering that for the majority of this group stage, they hadn't really had to do much, is the most goals by any club, of course. 10 of them did technically come against Atletico Madrid and Red Bull Salzburg in the space of 2 matches, but they look formidable, absolutely formidable. KD, who do you think is going to go on and win the Champions League?
I'm thinking one of 3 teams. It's going to be either Liverpool, because I just can't see anybody beating them, Bayern Munich, because they have probably the best squad in the world, and PSG, because they just have so many good players that they've got to go far, and they've got Neymar and Mbappe to carry them that far. So because everyone else has said something different, I'm going to go for PSG. Interesting
indeed. I'm going to just kind of chuck an outsider in there and say Atalanta. I kind of feel like, depending on how teams play, they're so attacking. They've now got that experience in the Champions League. They did finish second in the end, so they've shown a bit of resilience once again, because they were third for kind of a large period of it. But you never know with the Champions League. There's some good outsiders in there, as we said. Gladbach will certainly be feeling it. Atletico Madrid, of course, are going to be hungry. Sevilla as well, and Chelsea, 2 other teams you can't forget about in this competition. So it'll be interesting to see how those do as well. And welcome to Stream Christboy, Sean is late on. And in terms of the Europa League as well, for the teams that drop down, who do you think's the favourite out of those to go the furthest?
None of them. They're going to get knocked out by Slavia in the first round. Slavia going all the way. These teams are absolutely awful compared to Czech Republic's number 1.
Realism, Rowan.
Yeah, genuinely. Being realistic. I think United have got a great shot. Look how close their group was when they went out. I'll go with United. I'll back KD.
United, Kieran, what are you thinking?
I would have said Inter Milan had they finished 3rd, but they haven't. It was Shakhtar Donetsk, and they'll always give a good account of themselves. But out of all the groups, realistically, I think there's a clear best team, and that was Man United that's managed to drop into the league below. So Man United.
Will, are you agreeing? Manchester United as well?
Yeah, probably Man United. I mean, Ajax not too bad of a team, but yeah, Man United should have been in the next round for the Champions League, and they just choked because I don't know how they go from beating Leipzig 5-0, they beat PSG in Paris, and you don't go through. It's like what Kieran said last night. If you got those 2 results, you'd put your money on them going through, but somehow it didn't happen. I think they're definitely the strongest team falling out from the Champions League going into the Europa League.
And then KD, do you think Manchester United are going to go all the way potentially?
No chance at all. I think we'll get knocked out in one of the earlier rounds. I'm not going to lie.
Interesting indeed. As I said, I'm going to go Man United. I would have said either Ajax or Shakhtar.
I didn't even say a team. Tottenham.
Interesting indeed. Of course, Tottenham doing quite well in the Europa League right now. Not in the Champions League, but in the Europa League. But as I said, Ajax and Shakhtar, I think a good shout. If Salzburg can get just some form of finishing going in Champions League or Europa League football, because they seem to be doing quite all right when it comes to Austrian League. They seem to be banging in the goals. When it comes to playing the bigger teams, they struggle a little bit. So I think Salzburg were up there with a shout as well. But in terms of the Champions League goal show, that is it. We are done and dusted. We've got more content to come on the channel over the next week. We've got a big weekend of watch-alongs. You can join us on Saturday for 2 derbies. The Manchester derby with me and Rowan will be live from 5:15 for that game. And then straight afterwards, both the Kierans will be live with the Madrid derby. That's from about 10 to 8. It's going to be a good derby weekend. And then on Sunday, PSG face Lyon. It's going to be me and Kay live from 7:45 on the 13th of December. And then the big one. We're live on Monday morning, round of 16 live draw. We're around 10:30, 11, with a draw at 11 o'clock. And then straight after that draw is completed, we'll be talking all about that round of 32 draw in the Europa League. That's on the 14th of December for both of those draws. In terms of other sports, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is the final Grand Prix of the year for F1. We're going to be live on the 30th of December at 1 o'clock. And then replacing the Champions League on a Tuesday night, as we're done with the Champions League, is the Ali Pali. The World Darts Championship Day 1 takes place 10 to 6 on the 15th of December. It's going to get very interesting, very different watch-along indeed. But as for now, boys, a very big thank you to Will, KL, KD, and Rowan, as always.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you very much. That is it. The Champions League is done and dusted. We had 6 incredible match days with plenty of goals, plenty of drama, and some very interesting things going on as well in certain games. But ultimately, we will be back with the goal show in February. Long time to wait. But we hope to see you for the draw on Monday. But as for now, have a fantastic morning, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are. And we hope to see you again soon. See you later.
Goodbye.